All right, good morning, everybody. It is.
Mike.
Yeah, it is a hump day. It is Wednesday.
I typically you say
Cameras.
it's Wednesday or it's hump day, and then I hit the mic.
Oh,
You
all
caught
right.
me off guard. You threw me a change up right there.
You're a youngin'. You can adjust on the fly. Nicely done.
Thank
Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. A little damp, little dreary outside. Feels like we're in London. Many say that about Omaha when they fly into Epley Airfield. They're
Mhm.
like, "Wow, this is Heathrow."
Yeah. London of the
That's what I
plains.
do.
Is that
That's
what
what I do.
people say?
They do. They do. Many people say it, and then they, they go to some of our favorite English pubs,
Sure.
and they say, "Man, London has nothing on Omaha." It's been said many times. Just go to the Reddit page.
They touch down at Omaha
Yeah.
Epley Airfield. They go, "Where's Big Ben? I thought Big Ben would be here. This looks exactly like
It
the
is.
setting."
Or the Scottish
It's
restaurant
under
called
construction. It
McDonald's.
is rising to the heavens downtown, the penis of downtown Omaha, which will be completed shortly. So, welcome in, everybody. It is a Wednesday edition of Gary and Matt. Jimmy is here as well, and we are a day closer to something called a Grunkemeyer against a Latif. Remember, in the middle of the summer, this was going to be so cool. It's going to be like, oh, you're going to have a guy that's going to be a top draft pick in the NFL at quarterback, and then the guy that's going to be on the other sideline is going to be another one. This is going to be great. It's going to be nighttime. It'll be a banger. This could be for the playoff. Instead, we get a Grunkemeyer against a TJ.
It's still nighttime, though.
It is still at night. It's still going to be a banger of a football game. It has a lot of meaning. I know some people are like, it has a lot of meaning.
I'm excited.
But whatever a Grunkemeyer is, that'll be Nebraska's task to figure that out.
Not a drunken Miller.
No. That doesn't even sound like a quarterback name.
Grunkemeyer?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I mean, you got to be playing in the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's too. He's
Doesn't it sound like a center?
Or you got to
Does
be
sound
built
like
like
a center.
Deacon Hill.
yeah, line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but not like I don't need. Grunkemeyer doesn't even sound like a tackle. Because even
I think you could have a big old tackle, which has got that on the back of his jersey,
Playing for the Bears.
from the left shoulder to the right shoulder.
I don't know, but even the tackles, like their last name are like, Taylor or Washington or like Brown Jr.
Hey, Ted
or,
Washington was a big boy.
or Long, right? Grunkemeyer sounds like just like a disgusting, 6'3", 335 pounds, just like right in the middle of the teeth of
One
the
day
offensive
throws a hell of a
line,
tailgate.
All right, it's that's not an easy name to pronounce all the time when you touch the ball as much as the backup quarterback for Penn State does. That's why Latif is a lot easier. So we'll have plenty today on Nebraska Penn State midweek after the coordinators spoke yesterday. John Butler, Dana Holgerson, and many players spoke yesterday.
Was there anything that
No.
okay, really?
It's the end of the year. There's nothing new coming out. It's off a bye week. It's very kind of, you know what? What are you going to say? You got to go play. You got to go win a football game. Okay, you got to find a way to get your 8th win of the year. There's nothing like, not even something you could twist into like some controversy.
Oh, I thought there was one, and now
About?
you might. Okay, so
Is this about Dana?
yes, he was talking about
I know where you're going here.
the 7-minute drive, and then he was talking about some of the things that they were calling.
Mhm.
And he's like, we let him make decisions with RPOs and, the bootlegs and getting them out wide. And then he said, and I think you know where I'm going, even if people don't agree with that, was the line he dropped. He's like,
there was another one. Not that one.
Okay.
There was another one about he just called the same plays. And I mean,
Oh.
he basically told you they executed really, really well.
yeah.
They had a game plan. They didn't change much. They actually had a couple of new things in there. He dropped a couple of nuggets about new things that probably not to the naked regular eye, the NARPs out there that you saw that they did
Yeah.
against UCLA. But I think he basically told you they didn't change anything and they executed at a high level.
But and I think that was very clear as to like just watching the
Yeah.
game that they did that. And that's something
And they have to do.
Yeah.
They're actually going to have to do that a lot better because they'll be out athleted on Saturday
and it was
night.
interesting him mentioning that. But I don't know. I heard the line, even if people don't agree with that. And I was like, what people? Like what people aren't agreeing with that? What people aren't saying you shouldn't let him make decisions on RPOs. What people are saying that you shouldn't put the ball in his hands or trust him or get him out in a skinny boot. Like I don't think anybody in the fans or anything were saying, oh, you shouldn't like use his legs or let him make decisions like that or anything. Like, I just thought that was when I was listening to the press conference, I immediately rewinded that. And I was just like, that was interesting that he just dropped that. That one little line.
I mean, they have to execute. I don't care how they do it. They run the ball. Is this game going to have 40 combined passes? Are we going to get to 30 combined passes in this game? You go back to the last game, 28 combined? Yeah. 15 for Nebraska, 13 for Penn State.
Be out of there in 3 hours, 8 minutes.
Oh, I think it'll be a very quick game. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a game where open the show yesterday, say it's a run the ball Saturday, and it is special team it up Saturday. That's how this game is going to go.
What would a proper line be? 33 and a half passes?
You're the mixed sports book. I just use it as reference. You'd have to set the line.
Okay. So if I set the line at 34 and a half.
Combined passes?
Yes.
I would like to go under, and that would be a good thing because I think in Nebraska's case, I think Nebraska needs to play with the lead because you don't want to be forced into obvious passing situations where that number from 15 2 weeks ago would go up. That seems like a reasonable number because I don't think Penn State, even if they fall behind, I don't think they have a grand desire to throw the football plenty.
No, God. No.
Now, they may throw it more than 13 times, but I'm thinking they're going to try and run the ball 50 times again. But it also could be a game where there's just not a lot of plays.
Well, because both teams are running the ball.
Yeah.
I think that Dana kind of tipped that to you in a way when he was talking about the whole 7-minute drive, and he's like, get ready for that. In the next 2 games, you're not going to have a lot of possessions in either of them. And so,
this is exactly. This is November football. This is line it up, run the ball, stop the run, beat the crap out of each other, find a way to win November football games. November football games sometimes are not very pretty when they are played in the Big Ten and they're played on the line of scrimmage.
But you love them.
Oh, I mean, like optically.
Outside today is a Big Ten day.
Optically, like USC Oregon will be a little bit different. That won't look like the Big Ten. That looks like the Pac-12.
Oh,
like Nebraska Penn State will look like what we think Big Ten football is. See, the whole key is you can play Big Ten football, but not look like Big Ten football. That's what Ohio State does.
That's a really good way.
Oregon has done that because Oregon does have some
Oregon
has some physicality. USC is more the running the football this year. Yeah, play Big Ten football, but don't look like a Big Ten football team.
Look faster. Look like the speed of an SEC team.
Yeah, look at if you can combine, you look like an SEC/Big Ten football team playing in the Big Ten conference. If you can accomplish that, man, you're cooking with peanut oil, and more than likely, you won the national championship last year in Columbus, Ohio.
Now I think now that you put it that way, I'm probably more likely to pick Ohio State to win the national championship. Because you're right, because they have a guy who's going to get drafted in the top 15 for wide receivers, and he's their wide receiver too. And you have, a guy who is an NFL player just playing in college. But then you look at like Indiana. Does Indiana do that? Not not to the level of
I think people diss Indiana. I think, man, if you watch Indiana play this year, they do run the football.
Well,
they're good on the offensive line. They got an exceptional quarterback, and they got some skill guys.
Sig loves it though. Chip on the shoulder.
Surratt is Surratt's.
I was going to bring this up yesterday about Curt Cignetti. So Bill Snyder is probably the greatest resurrection project in the history of college football when he took over at Kansas State to where he left Kansas State. Not necessarily in Bill Snyder 2.0, but when he was done 1.0. I mean, that is from where K-State was to where he turned it over. Nobody can dispute that.
They were ready to drop football. They were ready to move down a level.
Now, Indiana was not in the same boat, but Curt Cignetti in 2 years could go to the playoffs. We'll go to the playoffs twice. Could win a Big Ten championship and have a Heisman Trophy winner at a school that has been longing for football and has been a basketball first, second, third, fourth, and fifth school. And now all of a sudden you could have Cignetti do that. He's not Bill Snyder, but bam, he's pretty damn close to what he's done in a short amount of time at Indiana. But Indiana, he came from the SEC. He has familiarity with the SEC.
Sure.
So he knows how to build your team that you can appease both the SEC people and the Big Ten people, and they go, damn, that's a good football team.
It can't be understated that Indiana, for a lot of the Big Ten, when you had them on your schedule, you looked at it and you said automatic win.
Yeah, they were the homecoming game.
And
because they look at who they had as their head coach. They didn't really care about football.
No. Well,
okay, they maybe really didn't care about football when they hired Cignetti. They just found a unicorn. They found a guy that is a winner, period.
Yeah.
And they happen to make the right hire. It is, as we're going through this cycle of schools trying to pick coaches, look, Ole Miss was downtrodden.
Yeah.
And then they got the right guy. He got the rehab of Kiffin showed up in Oxford, and look where they're at. And the scary thing is, Lane Kiffin not at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss goes backwards because I don't believe that they'll make the same kind of hire that can make a difference.
Sure.
One hire can change
Odds
everything,
are very low.
but also one bad hire can really set you back. And Indiana,
I know.
I don't, they probably went, okay, we got a guy. Okay, we got a good. We're going to consistently win 8 games.
Yeah.
No way. They thought.
Oh,
now
God.
Cignetti thought this, but no way when they hired him. They said back-to-back years in the playoff, Heisman Trophy winner, all of this momentum.
Sure.
We're paying a coach amongst the top in the Big Ten. See, it's just one hire can change the world.
Didn't you say? We've talked about some teams, and you've brought this up, and he was like, "Are you really a blue blood, or did you make like good hires?" Or no, sorry, not that, Gary. You said,
I can't make Indiana blue blood.
No. I'm not talking about that. Okay. You go. Are you really a good job, or did you just make the right hire? Right? Did like the hire that you make
made the job better?
Make the job better.
Yeah.
And I think like even people nationally have talked about the Florida job.
Yeah.
And they're like, is the Florida job really that good? Or did Florida just like make the right hire in Urban Meyer? Like, did they go out and like execute? Right. I think that's just kind of the thing with Indiana. Like nobody ever has looked at Indiana as a good job. I think Indiana was a Big Ten job that was looked off as a jumping off point, right? How many jobs are in the Power 4 that you get and you're really like, oh, I want to take this Power 4 job and turn it into another Power 4 job? Like that's an insult to like you as a program.
Oh yeah, you go the MAC Indiana SEC route.
Exactly,
that's what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and even he won all the things that he won and accomplished the things that he was accomplishing. We still were like, oh, he's going to Penn State.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I don't know. I mean, some people, you know what, where you're happiest is where your feet are. And he's got a good thing going. That's why I know that the lure of LSU, man, I'd love to see Lane stay at Oxford. He wants to be the villain. He'd definitely be the villain. All right, coming up on the show, Jay Moore is traveling today. He's trying to get back. That's why he was not on Big Red Wrap-Up last night. So he is not back in the area, so he will not be with us today. But John Walker will join us. We have double dose of basketball here in the Big O tonight. Creighton plays against North Dakota. Find that game on ESPN+. I don't even know what the spread is for that game. I imagine it is a lot. It is an extreme amount of points that Creighton is favored tonight against the Summit League North Dakota Fighting Hawks. And then Omaha takes on a really, really good basketball program from the GPAC in Concordia, playing a non-D1 game over at Baxter Arena. But John Walker will join us coming up at 9. Maybe we'll have some news. Is Hudson Greer going to play tonight? Going to burn that red shirt. Also on the show, Brandon Vogel will stop by from Counter Read. That's all in the last hour of Gary and Matt on a Hump Day Wednesday, where there is somebody in this building I do not like this morning.
Whoa.
Yeah. Not on this radio station. I love everybody on this radio station.
Right. Thank you.
Got so many talented people on this radio station. Some that are really talented that need more opportunities. That's just me. But there is somebody in the building that I do not like this morning. And I don't even know their name. I don't even know who has this role.
I'm here for this. What'd they do yesterday?
Okay.
The
No.
thing?
No. The potluck was great. See people that haven't seen in a while. Yeah, it was great. We had a company potluck to celebrate Thanksgiving. Thank you to Keely and Stacy to put it together, and Meg and everybody else. It was really, really cool. But I'm driving in today.
Okay.
And, I like to think when I'm driving in, I like to see,
Same.
I see the same people all the time. Like I passed the former Schwann's truck,
Mhm.
okay, on Leavenworth. I always see the same person jogging.
Kid
All
with
right?
the shorts?
They, nope, no shorts.
Uh-huh.
Nobody waiting on the corner. I don't even go that way now. I just cut across and I turn left on Dodge because I
Okay.
like to be a rebel. I like
That's
to start
right.
my morning as a rebel. So I'm listening to, I would consider myself kind of a P1 of Sweet 98.
Okay.
That's true.
I like listening to
yeah.
Sweet 98. Now, I'm a big fan. I become a fan of the keg
Yeah.
till tomorrow. But I'm listening to Sweet 98. And before Spicoli and Meg go on air,
Mm-hmm.
I said Meg earlier. I think it was Peg that helped out with to put the potluck together. They play a song that I don't know who programs the music on that radio station.
Okay.
They're dead to me. They are absolutely dead to me. And I hope they have a horrible Wednesday, because right before they go live and I pull into the parking lot at 6:00, they play one of those songs that you'll not be able to get out of your head all day.
What
would you like to guess what? It's not a recent song, but it is extremely popular on that forum. And she is a controversial artist who is kind of rehabbed her career, and she's now pretty popular. Would you like to guess the song that they played right before 6:00 that I will not be able to get out of my head?
Toxic?
Oh, good one.
No.
I Can Buy Myself Flowers by Miley Cyrus.
Oh, another.
Okay, you have the right artist.
Okay,
all right.
Got it.
Wrecking Ball.
Wrecking Ball.
Nope. What is one of her songs that once it's played, it's very poppy, it gets in your head,
your generation.
Boom, 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 and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Everybody has those days. It's the best of both worlds?
No.
No.
Like, this is like one of her most popular songs.
I'm not a Miley
Party in the
Cyrus
USA.
guy.
Party in the USA.
Oh.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan. I can't get that song out of my head. And I just heard it 26 minutes ago. So whoever the music director is on Sweet 98, we're going to have some speaks. You know what? Play that song while we're on the air so I don't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're required on a station like Sweet 98 to play it every day.
That'd be a great question to a disc jockey like that, of like, are you cognizant of how many earworms that you're playing? Like, because there are songs that are notably.
I don't think it's an earworm song to me.
Oh, I think it's an earworm song for sure.
But to me, no, because it's got a little. I mean,
you're gonna say
aren't you asking? Am I gonna fit in?
The entire day you're just gonna keep saying to yourself, and the Jay-Z song was on, and the Jay-Z song was on,
and that's why I'm upset, because I don't want to hear that.
But that's an earworm.
But
that's
no,
exactly.
But
what
when
an
I think of an
is.
earworm, I think of also a negative. Yes, earworm, because I'm hearing it in my head. But I kind of like the song.
Okay.
So it's not like a song I despise. Why'd you play that? It's got a little pop to it, and so I listen, and so I'll be thinking about that song all day.
Is it a song that when you get back in your car, are you going to play it on your phone?
Hell no.
Are you an aux guy? Or do you
who?
An aux guy?
Like an ox?
You know what? I've never owned livestock.
No, not an ox.
An ox?
Ox. AUX.
I thought he said ox too. I was like,
don't you have Apple CarPlay?
Yeah, that's yeah. You just aux it up though, and then
I don't have to plug anything in.
Oh,
my car, when I open the door and I get in my car, my phone syncs up with my car.
I either have to like press a button for Bluetooth,
yeah,
or I'm never.
What's going on over there?
I just burping. Sorry, it just.
I thought we were about ready to lose him.
Acid reflux just came up out of nowhere.
Wow,
but no,
it's like I'm at home with my child.
Okay, so would it surprise you if I told you that I was known for like never really having my phone charged? Like,
I'm
that's
shocked.
That's kind of like
yes, it would, because I believe that you're very. You take responsibility and you take care of those things. And
I, on the other hand, think it's never above 9%.
I sometimes have trouble with my phone and the battery percentage that it's at. There are days where I make sure that I
do you not put it on a charger? Yeah.
And then there are days where it's like, oops, I was on the so I have to plug in my phone every time I get in my car. Like, it's just always, even if it's at 80%, it's just always a good idea for me to plug my phone in. Because even too, I like, if I have my phone, if I start my day at 100% on my phone, I'm still going to drain the battery. The battery will get down to 0 at some point, because I am.
Because you're on your phone.
You're on
Okay.
Twitter.
I'm on my phone a stupid amount. I like a concerning, like, hey, this has to get solved at some point amount.
Like, you have an issue?
Yeah.
What is so Sunday morning when it gives you the little nugget at 9 a.m. on what your screen time is?
Yeah.
What's your average daily screen time?
Somewhere between 7.5 to 8.5.
Damn. I was like 2 hours and something, I think.
No, mine is that, but I don't think I spend a lot of time on my phone.
See, I spend too much time though. Because I've been around you. You and I have hung out. You spend a lot of time like being productive on your phone though. Like you are texting a lot of people, you're contacting people, you're like looking at the news, you're like going to different apps, like you're reading Twitter, like you are.
So what are you doing on your phone?
I'm on
Aren't you doing the
Instagram.
same thing?
I'm on Instagram.
Oh.
I would say
Go down the black hole.
I go down the black hole for maybe like 3 hours. And like the
Milk.
other 5 is doing what you're doing, right? I'm looking at Twitter. I'm on like the list of like, what is Rob Dosker tweeting about like college basketball? But like the other 3, dude, the content that it's memes. Like when Connor and I were doing the meme thing yesterday, and I was rattling them off. That's all. It's dumb. It's stupid. I have an issue. I have to like limit it. I probably have to put a timer on my.
Well, at least the first sign of problems acknowledging you have a problem, so that's good.
Well, I don't hate everybody, but I don't know
That
who
would be
does
me.
it. I'm gonna have during the break. I'm gonna go next door and find out who does that, and I'm gonna let them have a piece of my mind. But also, I think Troy Dannon is starting to move up in my rankings of the best athletic director ever at Nebraska.
That took a
I was
piss.
listening to a show last night. He had some interesting things about the stadium, but that's coming next month. But he also addressed something that, thankfully, I would have driven to Lincoln and gone into his office and waited in the lobby to have some speaks with him if this would have been allowed. So he told the story about a QR code email.
Okay.
From a fan that was inquiring about a female Herbie.
Yes.
And he immediately put the kibosh on that. He said, not going to happen. Now this is where we differ. He said, very happy with the current Herbie. No, you're not.
Oh,
that thing is an abomination.
It's not.
But you know what?
Abomination.
You don't need to get rid of Herbie. You just need to fix the costume. Okay? The current costume scares people. And Nebraska will never win a national championship in football with Herbie looking like it currently does. It is awful. Even people from Los Angeles said a live horse is better than your mascot. But shutting down the idea of having a female Herbie, this is not sexist. This is not whatever you want to label it. It is just smart business because I don't think you do it well. And so I'm glad that there will never be a female Herbie. So whoever inquired, Troy Dannon acknowledged it, and Troy Dannon did the right thing, and Troy Dannon got a little bump. It's going to be tough to dislodge Bill Byrne, but you are definitely ahead of Eichhorst, Peterson, Moose, and Devaney.
I mean, okay, like the Eichhorn Peterson Moose, that's not exactly the highest bar to clear.
I'm not saying there was a bar to clear. I'm just giving you the past athletic directors before Troy Dannon showed up, but no female Herbie. Hello. Here we go. Here we go.
It was very interesting to me that when he said that there were female head coaches that would be offended if they did a female Herbie.
Yeah, if we're going to do that, let's just go back to the Lady Huskers. And you know what? Let's put it on the basketball uniform. Lady Huskers in the cursive. Let's do that if we're going to do that. So thank you. Thank you. No female Herbie. Good job, Dannon. Now, I want to know about my seats in South Stadium. Let's go. All right. You got the lineup for the show. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, John Walker will join us against Creighton is in action tonight here on the Zone. Pregame at 6? Tip at 7?
Yes, tip at 7.
Postgame with Matt afterwards for the Jays and the Fighting Hawks. I'll be over at Baxter at 7 o'clock for Concordia, which there is a super local interest. Smart scheduling by Omaha. They're going to have butts and seats of all the really, really good local players that are at Concordia. Concordia is a really good basketball program. So we got double dose of basketball. We got John Walker and Brandon Vogel lineup brought to you by the Roofers and John Higgins Weather Guard. There was basketball last night. Sorry, Jimmy.
Spurs won.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
They look good.
Tough to watch.
No Wemby.
Tough to watch that game. No Wemby and Morant.
Well, I don't know. There was Luke Cornett and Kelly Olynyk, so I had a
he
great
sent me a
time
text
watching that game.
My kid's
God.
addicted to basketball now, so yeah, she knows ball.
The former Vanderbilt Commodore, Luke Cornett out there, the former Bull, former Celtic.
Noah Eagle, very enjoyable on the
Former
broadcast.
KU Jayhawk.
Luke Cornett?
Kelly Olynyk.
Oh, Kelly Olynyk. Yeah. Well, that and the former Celtic as well, Kelly Olynyk. I mean, those are, I always have my favorite, like growing up, like niche big men. And those two guys were always up there on the list. And I knew Kelly was on the team, was on the Spurs. Because
I had forgotten.
Joey and I were watching a Spurs game during one of the post-game shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, is that Kelly Olynyk? Like I didn't realize you had Cornette too. I was like, "You're my favorite college white guys on the Spurs. I might buy a Spurs jersey
Yeah.
now."
It
It's
was-
awesome.
You know, Matt Bonner's no longer there, so we had to get the
Oh.
white guy demographic taken care of.
You did.
We do. Yeah.
You did.
Brent Berry no longer there.
Well, if you would have watched your basketball team last night, I think Bill's hair was a little bit higher last night.
Yeah.
Looked like it was a little bit
Yeah, I had a
higher
friend
at
texting me from
MSG.
the Garden, and I told him 74-63 they lose, and almost nailed the score.
You did almost nail the score.
Yeah, I mean, Trey White was pretty good. They I don't know. They're crazy athletic, but crazy undisciplined. That's the best way to describe KU right now.
Sounds promising.
That Bill's hair was a little bit higher. Did you notice?
I
A little bit higher.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Did
No,
he not
I
have it?
haven't.
Did he not have it placed correctly?
I've never really paid attention to the coiffedness of Bill Self's hair.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I will say though,
Not a ball watcher apparently
is
of KU ball.
is Carlos Boozer getting is he doing a Benjamin Button? Like, is he looking younger? Like, he looked good yesterday. Like, he looked kind of.
He's always looked good.
Yeah,
No,
he looked like that for a while.
no, but like
You
he
see him
looked
on TV.
he looked in particularly good,
Well,
and he had a good outfit
he'll-
with the
he'll-
hoodie and the hat and
He'll
everything.
look really good because ESPN's going to glaze his kids because you finally found somebody from Duke that they can adopt this year and beat into the ground. So that'll be nice. But Caden, man, they haven't. Duke has had a history of really good point guards,
Mhm.
but not of like late.
No, not really.
I think Caden Boozer, they have found their guard. That's a good Duke team.
I saw a great this is about Kentucky, but like I saw like a great stat about like how forever you couldn't miss on drafting Kentucky point guards.
Yeah.
Like if you just draft it, except for Tyler Ulis, if you went ahead and you just drafted Kentucky point guard, you were good. I feel like we're kind of on that run with just Duke's best player. Like if you're and we've been on this run for forever, but it's just like it just never fails the fact that they just go ahead and just always get the stud of the season at this point.
All right, when we come back, we'll dive into some Nebraska, Penn State, and also, sorry, Matt Rule, John Butler. I don't feel the same way. I just don't. I can't share how you feel.
Are you breaking up with me?
Matt Rule and John Butler broke up with you?
Are you breaking up with them?
No. I can't feel the same way they do. That's part of what we'll have coming up as we roll till 10. Also, last night, college football committee should never do interviews after the rankings. That was a bad night for the committee. Bad night for some, confusing night for others. And Oregon, you better win on Saturday against SC. It's Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right, judging by the comments that I'm receiving in the Equitable Bank inbox, which I cannot read on air, people are very supportive of never having a female version of Herbie.
What would you call her? Herbette?
No,
Oh.
God, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what UCLA does because they have two. But yeah.
Troy Dannon, nice call. Nice call. Way to put your foot down there. No female Herbies, but females can support the current Herbie. I just question if you think that's a good-looking mascot or not.
It's a fine-looking mascot.
No, it is. People are coming around. If I can come around on the Killigan song, people can come around that they need to do something with that mascot outfit. That thing is scary. Just look in the eyes.
Well, first off, how
I
can
put that thing outside of the visiting locker room. I just have it stand there.
Now that might
while
not
the
be a
visiting
bad
team's coming on the
idea.
field. He might be worth like 4 points.
How would you fix him? Like, what would you do to adjust the Herbie?
You got to fix the eyes.
Maybe some
The
skates?
eyes is it looks just frumpy. Okay.
I think he looks fine.
Or you want him
think
to
he
be
looks
more
fine.
ripped?
Farmers in Nebraska are not all frumpy.
I think he looks better
True.
than what the old Herbie looked like.
I want my Herbie to be cock diesel.
The old Herbie looked like he was spending all of his hours at Planet Fitness, not on the farm. Okay,
You get that farm strength.
Farm strength is a real thing.
And I look at the current Herbie and I go,
Shout out my late
that looks like
father-in-law.
farm-
That was a good
I'm
example.
aware. I'm aware that farm strength's a real thing. All right. I look at the current Herbie and I go, that looks like a farm strength dude. I looked at the old Herbie and I thought popcorn muscles. I thought aesthetic lifting. He's not really that strong. It's just all for show. He just wants to wear tight shirts. That's what I thought when I looked at the old Herbie. The new Herbie, I think of farm strength. I think of he's a little burly.
This is an
Okay.
interesting topic.
Yeah.
This could be
I
a
like
debate.
the current Herbie. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
951-1620. What side are you on?
I don't have anything wrong with the person that's in the costume. It's just that they're forced, and it's really terrible. They have to go through their college career, and you have to wear that costume. Okay. So that costume will be in State College, along with many others. We got Tom yesterday said he got on. I don't think it's SeatGeek.
Okay.
Look at this email. He said he got tickets for $5.
I believe it.
So
Great deal.
that is the bar. Tom, who lives in Scranton, PA, shout out the office,
Mhm.
and Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins,
Mm.
the baby Pens. He is going to the game
You
for
got to.
$5.
At
So
that
if you can
price.
find a $4 ticket, let us know.
How much?
I might actually, we might do something for you if you can get a ticket lower than $5 to get in before Friday.
Do you want to set an over under of what my TKO Enterprises Elimination Chamber ticket will cost today when I get on the pre-sale?
Oh, well, is it you're buying face, right?
I'm buying face. Yes.
So what are you, $200?
I think it's going to be like 400.
Depending on where you're sitting, right?
Sure. Well, to get in, I think the get-in price will probably be that. Will probably be 200. I think it'd like to sit anywhere
So
good.
the cheapest, the get-in price being the cheapest seat,
ticket.
face value when they go on sale. You're going straight to the source. You're not going to a secondary ticket market.
No.
Okay, so what the cheapest seat up in the upper bowl of UC?
Yeah,
$200.
that'd be wild.
That'd be a lot.
Crazy because it's
Could you justify paying
No.
that to sit in the nosebleeds?
not in those nosebleeds.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
That does seem like a long way up there in that building.
It is a big way.
I've always sat in the lower bowl.
Yeah. So
Sometimes too low.
hockey games,
Mhm.
you can. Great take, Gary. You can sit too low at the UC. Hockey games, it's the best seat in the stadium for sure. It's perfect. It's cheap. You have bars up there. They have individual bars, little like stores. Like it's awesome.
Mhm.
If you're going to a basketball game, anyone who wants to go to a Bulls game, don't buy a 300 level ticket. Spend just a little bit more to get into the 200s, or spend in the. You can't see anything.
Mhm.
And like for a wrestling ring,
Mhm.
you're all the way up. There's no way. There's no way.
They
I
got a
would
nice
pay that.
scoreboard.
They've had that scoreboard for a while too, and they've been so innovative with what they've done there. But no, I'm just making the point of like, it's just what TKO has done to some of these like fight prices and
Mhm.
WWE prices and everything like that. They have priced out like your diehard regular fans.
So
It's
Bud Crawford was going to
atrocious.
fight Jake Paul shortly after he got
Yeah.
done with the Canelo Alvarez match.
Glad
They were going to put that together, and Joshua instead got it. Wonder what that price would have been. I'm glad Bud said no.
me too.
Um,
That would have been I mean, I'm glad Bud would have gotten paid, and it would have been awesome to see Bud knock him out,
Yeah.
and would have been sick. I'm legitimately worried for Jake Paul that I'm gonna be real. This isn't people die in boxing. Like people do like
I know. Remember when Apollo Creed
people
died?
people have physical. I'm just
Sad.
no. I'm
Threw the
being
damn
real here,
towel.
guys. Like people
So am
have
I.
people sustain legitimate long-term brain injuries boxing. Okay.
Yeah, they do in football as well.
And Jake Paul is going to fight one of the most dangerous men in terms of heavyweights on the planet. And he is not nearly big enough to handle those types of punches and has not grown up in boxing and handling those types of punches. Like I'm legitimately worried for his health.
Oh, as long as he can still make his YouTubes, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
problem.
Nebraska Penn State this weekend, and I've listened to Matt Rule on Monday and John Butler talk about going back home and that they worked there and they played there and how they feel. I have no feels whatsoever for Penn State. Like I'm excited for this weekend's game because it's another game and you only get 12 of these.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's only two left.
it's an important tell game. That's how I'm describing this game for Nebraska. So from that standpoint, you should be excited. It's a game. You only get 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We wait all year. We spend so much oxygen on this radio station leading up to the year, and then it's over. And we go, oh, man, the season went fast. Wasn't able to appreciate all 12. So I appreciate it from that standpoint. And, playing in the Big Ten, you have your usuals that are on the schedule.
Yeah.
Penn State hasn't been on the schedule since the COVID year. Nebraska, since they've been in the Big Ten, really haven't played Penn State very much. I wasn't around here in the 80s. So I didn't get to go through that, but I was around in the 90s and especially in 94. I have no feels for Penn State. Like, I don't go, ooh, Nebraska, Penn State, like the NBC TV exec does looking at ratings. I have absolutely no feels for Penn State. I know they're a blue blood. I respect what they've done. I also know what they did. I just have Penn State football does nothing for me living in Omaha, Nebraska, other than they're playing Nebraska this weekend. I don't go, oh my God, this is great. Like, I don't even think, man, I got to get to that stadium because that stadium is a shrine to college football. I got no feels. I got a feel for the game. I got no feels for Penn State. So sorry, Matt Rule, John Butler. I do not share the same emotion towards Penn State. To me, they're just another game on the schedule that's got history and a helmet. But other than that, they're not warming my cockles.
They're kind of like an in-conference opponent that you're kind of disconnected from in a way, right? Like this might be a bad example, but like I kind of feel the way about Penn State as like maybe I would feel about the Seattle Seahawks. Like I'm a Chicago Bears fan. Like I know that they exist. I know that they're a good franchise. I know that they've won a lot of games. I know that at some point, if the Bears are going to get where I want them to go, they're probably going to have to beat Seattle or beat a team like Seattle. But the thing is that the Bears, much like Nebraska, haven't been really good enough to put themselves in a situation where you really, really care about, hey, you have to beat Penn State to get where you want to go. Like that's kind of one of those things where when you're a program that has not won and hasn't been in as many big games in an extended period of time, you don't really have those connections to teams that aren't considered regional rivals.
No, and you know what? Here's the other thing. So the Big Ten shoved it down our throat of Nebraska, Ohio State. Made sense originally.
Oh, yeah.
And then after Ohio State was killing Nebraska, it did not make any sense anymore. But Nebraska plays Ohio State a lot. I wish they would play Michigan. But it seems like of the biggies that when you came into the league, Ohio State's the one that the little conference said, we want Ohio State, Nebraska. They're big brands. Ohio State is one of the top TV drawers. Nebraska's in the top 15 this year of college football teams
Always
on TV.
high.
But look at like Penn State. So I've been to that stadium. It's an erector set.
Right.
Okay, they just keep adding on to it.
It was an erector set when I was a
It's
kid.
a night game and it's a whiteout. And by the way, this is not a whiteout game. Okay, I don't know where that's coming from. They had their whiteout game. People wore well white, but not the whole stadium. Okay, but there's nothing like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's hard to get to. They do have history. They do have Paterno. They have scandal. You can't tell the story of Penn State without talking about the scandal.
Not such a happy
But
valley.
in terms of being the Nebraska perspective, there's no feels because you'll play this game. And then you know when is the next time that Nebraska will see Penn State?
Oh, 2029?
2042?
2028.
Yeah.
When they come to Lincoln. which will be the last time they were here was during COVID, where nobody was there except for a bunch of cutouts. Okay.
You were
and
there?
family and friends. Yes. Sitting upstairs, like from me to Dodge from Happer, because they had it separated in the press box.
Mhm.
I got no feels for Penn State.
Well-
I'm sorry. I love college football. I've been to the Hall of Fame. I vote for awards. I unfortunately let 105 men affect my mood on Sundays. But when it comes to Penn State, I got no feels. Sorry,
Well-
I've ruined it for everybody. That's just me personally.
I was actually excited about this game this year because it seemed like there'd actually be stakes. You know, like that's like if you're going to
I excited for the game, but like, ooh, Penn State.
but if
The
they
Nittany Lions.
but this year with Nebraska's schedule and how Penn State was supposed to be, it in a way you were thinking, hey, this could set up to be like a big college football playoff game for either team. Like we were having conversations of hoping like, oh my God, like if that it'd be great for that to be a big game, for that to matter. I think that was your line. Hey, if Nebraska's playing a meaningful game at Penn State in November, like things went right. Like that was the goal. And that's kind of why you would care about Penn State. Is if you were to
I
play-
care about the game.
Yeah,
The
no,
game,
but
but not the Penn State.
exactly. But that's how you would get to caring about the opponent, right? If you played games like that, if that was like a consistency within Nebraska football, and that even when now Nebraska football is playing good football and they're trending in the right direction, it's unfortunate that Penn State is where it's at. Because I would like Penn State to matter. I would like more teams in the Big Ten to matter to Nebraska.
How about the team that plays, that wears Nebraska? How about they matter?
That's a good point.
Bruce says, gee, man, we do have an extended history with them. That makes it a little special, just like UCLA and Miami. UCLA is not special. They were special 25, 30 years ago. Penn State, even though there have been times and since the Big Ten that there have been odd games, and this is a little bit of Nebraska not holding up their end of the bargain because they've played some good Penn State teams, or when Nebraska has beaten Penn State teams have been bad. This is just like if you drop somebody in to start following Nebraska football religiously, like myself, and let's say like religiously, like 1990, Colorado gets me more riled than Oklahoma, because when I started, Oklahoma was bad and Nebraska was putting up interstate numbers on them, and the series really wasn't what it used to be. And I felt like, man, I missed out. If you just dropped into the Big Ten and Nebraska, Penn State, very few times, and again, it's going to happen this year, a 7-3 team against a 4-6 team, that Penn State and Nebraska have been good at the same time. And they don't play on the regular, even though they do have some odd Big Ten games in the 80s and back then, and not even really in the early 2000s, because when they met in the home and home in 02 and 03, it wasn't like, it was like, So I'm sorry. I just don't have feels for Penn State. I wasn't in your basement watching it. Us as like grade school kids watching in 82, where dad put his fist through the wall because the officials screwed Nebraska. I wasn't there in 83 when you said, you know what? I hope they run Paterno into the ground. And they did, 44-6.
You might have watched the game, though, just because you liked football.
Well, the thing, though, is
I don't remember. I remember watching the 83 game. I don't remember watching the 83
You're making some really good points, and we can just kind of float this all back around to, like, how about kids my age? Like, kids my age and kids younger who are diehard Nebraska football fans. Who do we care about? Iowa, right?
It's a great question.
Like,
I'm not being sarcastic.
We care about Iowa, but even the Iowa rivalry has felt forced, right? And Nebraska hasn't really beaten Iowa, and Nebraska doesn't have like overwhelming, like great memories about any of the Iowa games. Like, you ask kids that I went to school with who grew up here in this state, right? And I've talked to you about some of my buddies, they'd probably be like Texas, because they have those memorable games of like getting their heart broken, but Nebraska doesn't play Texas anymore, right? That's not a game that occurs. And so it's like, it is worrisome.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
But it is worrisome to me, though. Well, it's also Nebraska's fault too, though. And also Nebraska is to blame for the fact that there are kids who are 15, 16, 20 years old who really don't have true opponents that they care about in the Big Ten. Because the way to care about opponents is being a good opponent yourself. And Nebraska hasn't been a good opponent.
I wonder from the fan perspective, You got three choices, and I'll put this out there, and we got to go to a break. As a fan choice, would you rather play Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State regularly? Like 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, that kind of rotation. Kind of like Nebraska has with Ohio State. All three have won championships.
Mm-hmm.
All three are helmets.
That's a great question.
Would you, as a fan, not like, hey, past history, just like, well, yeah, past history involved.
Yeah.
Like as a fan, and you would think that if Nebraska gets to where they want to go and they need to go, those games have huge meaning. But as a fan perspective, who warms your cockles the most when they come into Memorial Stadium to play Nebraska? Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State? Keep that out there. We'll solicit some comments on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline anytime. You can comment on anything. 402-951-1620. It's Gary, Matt, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right, hit it. So this is quite the interesting development. I'm sure everyone will handle this news with some calmness.
Oh, of course.
According to Rivals this morning, 2 weeks from signing day, Nebraska has had another decommit. They just had a lineman from the New Orleans area. He decommitted. He is headed to Mississippi State. Dayton Raiola has decommitted from Nebraska, according to Chad Simmons of Rivals. Interesting development. Rule was at his high school game the other night when he was out on the road recruiting. So he went and saw, because Buford, Georgia they are steamrolling towards winning a state championship. So everybody take a deep breath here and let's discuss this. One, Dayton is the lowest rated recruit in this class, which now is down to 9. I think he is better than some give him credit for. He's in the shadow of his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Taylor is coming in 27. His older brother is currently out for the year with a broken leg. And there is a backup quarterback who is about to start his second game and seems to be very, very popular. Then there is the Unk that is the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing all these out there, but I wonder this. And again, I think Dayton is better than people have given him credit for, but he had no big offers.
Yeah.
Nebraska was his offer, and he came here because of his brother. And Trey Taylor's coming in 27, and TJ Lateef is already here. So I'm thinking that this may not be connected to anything that Dylan does. It may be connected to, is Dayton going to be able to play sooner than later at the University of Nebraska if Lateef is the heir apparent and Trey Taylor is coming, and it's been let known, and somebody said, we got an offer for you 2 weeks from signing day. That's just my initial read on this.
Yeah.
Because I could go all crazy and go, well, there you go.
Sure.
Hey, goodbye, Raiolas. I'm just doing it from Dayton's perspective, looking at his future on wanting to play sooner than later, but kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
We had, you know what? We had some normalcy around here for like 7-8 days.
Yeah.
Now we have a decommit.
Well,
Dayton Raiola.
so you and I were having a conversation about the health of the quarterback room after the UCLA game. And I remember a comment in our chat room, in our YouTube chat room. They were like,
He's come around.
they were like, Matt,
Let's get there now and read them.
they're like, Matt, you didn't mention Dayton. They're like, why didn't you bring up Dayton?
Yeah.
And it's simply just because, guys, he was sandwiched in between a bunch of better prospects, and the timeline never really made sense for him to play. Like he was going to have to take major steps in his development if he was ever going to be a guy that you could see as a hey, he beat out TJ Lateef to be the starter, or he beat out Trey Taylor to be the starter. And so from that just kind of like logical, I want to play football perspective, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that he decommits and he goes somewhere else. And also in this era of you could go somewhere smaller, get your tape there, and then transfer to a Power 5 program. Yeah. Now from the family perspective, I mean, it's an incredibly interesting story just based off of all of the other things that are happening around Dylan Raiola and just the Raiola family in general in terms of the injury and Lateef playing well and Taylor coming in 2027 and then the offense. Like there's something to be had there maybe, but from a logical perspective, it makes a ton of sense.
I think this is a business decision. I think if you're Dayton and, your brother would be here next year. So you'd have that where everybody would be talking about you. You want to play. Lateef is here. Lateef and I'm starting to vibe with both quarterbacks are coming back.
Great.
So whoever it is, your starting quarterback is on campus right now. Okay, your starting quarterback in the opening game next year is on campus right now. And then You keep laughing at me when I tell you that Trey Taylor is the best quarterback that Matt Rule has ever recruited. He's not coming to sit for 2 years. So
Yeah.
if you're making a business decision about I want to play sooner than later, there probably is a school, as you have gone through your year at Buford and you're putting up big numbers and they're winning, a school that is not on the Power 4 level for you. You could come in and probably play right away. I think it's a smart business decision by the family in regards to Dayton. I'm not going to overreact and say it's tied to Dylan and Donnie. I'm going to say this is about Dayton and what the quarterback room could look like, because let's also say, you're going to lose one because he's out of eligibility. Davila got brought up yesterday.
Yeah.
Is he going to stick around? Now, if he does, there's your 3 quarterbacks for next year. I mean, because if he transfers, that's 3 schools in 3 years. So I think this is my initial reaction is this is a Dayton specific thing, looking at the quarterback room with older brother TJ Lateef and Trey Taylor coming.
If everything went perfectly, Dayton Raiola would have never started a game at Nebraska. Like if everything broke the way that you would hope it would break, he would never have played, because you would have. To me, the perfect timeline is Dylan plays next year, Dylan goes to the NFL, TJ plays the following year, TJ goes to the NFL probably, and then his sophomore year, Trey Taylor is the quarterback. Like that is kind of the perfect progression of talented quarterback, super talented quarterback, like 4-star to 5-star guys just in progression. Dayton's not included in it.
Yeah. He's it's we've had this discussion about his rankings. And again, I think he's better than people let on. If you watch him play,
I agree.
I'm always kind of attracted to the Jim Zorns of the world, the left-handed quarterbacks. It's a wise decision. It's a wise decision for, I think, Dayton in looking at his future. But again, they've made the quarterback room a priority. That's why. Okay, the Raiolas run the world here in Nebraska. They do. They
You're right.
They impact decision making, and they impact the emotional tank of the head football coach. Is big game Saturday night. Everybody has interest in it because it's Nebraska football. Let's have some honesty here. Get a little bit more jacked because Lateef's playing, because there's the mystery of Lateef and what he can do. Like if Dylan was playing, you'd still be interested and you'd still be like fired up because it's the 11th game of 12. But Lateef gives it a different intrigue because of what he does and what he did, and now he's playing a better team. But the one thing it doesn't give you, and this is a credit to Nebraska, post Purdy, Sims, Harburg, is they prioritize the quarterback room. So instead of dread with a backup quarterback for the second straight game, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
all right, I'm going to inch closer to my 75-inch TV in 4K to watch, instead of I'll sit back here and watch Dylan and still like have interest.
Sure.
But I'm going to be like, ooh, that's the Lateef guy who always looks like he's high.
He doesn't always look like he's high. He's just from California. They kind of come out the box like that.
Dude.
My buddy Kevin is the exact same way. He just always looked like he's a little daisy.
Now, I stole that line from a friend of mine, Steve, who, when he saw Lateef post game, he was like, "Is that kid high?" And I'm like, "No, he's not." He goes, just kind of looks like that. I'm like, "Who cares? As long as he wins."
Well, if he is high and he's playing good quarterback, I don't
helps
care.
with the pain.
Well, I got a quick question for you. No, I do, because I am honestly intrigued. I can't act.
He's a chill guy.
This is because I don't know this. Okay,
all quarterbacks should be chill.
Well, a little, to a certain degree. I don't know if they didn't recruit another quarterback because they were like, hey, we're sticking by Dayton and we want to do right by Dayton. Or I don't know if they didn't recruit another quarterback in 2027 or 2026 because they were like, either way, like, we're going to have a good progression of Dylan to TJ to go ahead and go to Trey Taylor.
I think they take a quarterback every year, and they got the quarterback way early. Dayton has been committed for a long time. I think they probably also had some potential prospects that weren't interested in Nebraska because Nebraska had their quarterback. Like Dayton has been committed
for a long time
before his junior year.
I think so. And he's the 99th quarterback ranked on like Rivals, right? He's the 1600th overall player, like according to this site. Like it's not as if he's a 3-star. And you're right, he's athletic and he's big and he can run. And I think if he goes to a group of 5, like and develops and gets his completion percentage up, he could be a potentially good quarterback in that level and see where he progresses. But like it seemed like they kind of were like, all right, we're not going to, I don't know if they weren't recruiting a higher prospect because they were honoring it by him, or if they were like, we're set with the quarterback position. We don't need a top dude. But would you go out and would you recruit another high school quarterback right now?
No,
you wouldn't.
No, I would work to make sure that both guys that are here stay.
Well, I think that goes without saying, but I
think it's too late in the process because you have probably shut the door on a lot of high school kids.
But well, that's probably true. Like I think it'd be very hard for them to go out and get I don't think they'd. If they were to go out and get a high school quarterback at this point, they're not getting a blue chip guy.
Yeah, they would
get a 3-star.
This would be if you were going to add a quarterback, and they're probably going to need to.
They will now.
They will probably get a mid-range portal guy, with the understanding that the starting quarterback for 1 year or 2 more years or 3 more years is already on campus. And there's another guy coming in the next go around. The one thing it'll do now with this decommit, and you're at 9, has anybody in the history of the 4-team playoff to the 12-team playoff ever made the playoff in the same year that the recruiting class is the worst in their respective conference?
Oh, great question.
Because Nebraska's probably going to be, they're 17th now. Could they be 18th?
No way. I don't have to go back through the history of all that stuff and tell you that that's never happened. That's never happened.
So Rule was he was at his high school game the other night. Now Dayton Raiola in the class of 26, which signs here in a couple of weeks, has decommitted. There's no media availability today either in Lincoln. Nope. All right. Here is BJ on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, BJ.
Hey, good morning, Gary, Matt. Hey, I think this injury to Raiola has thrown a wrench in some of their plans, is what I think's going on. Because
Nebraska's or the family?
Nebraska's. I apologize.
Okay.
And maybe both. What I'm getting at is I think Rule's game plan was always, okay, Raiola's going to be here probably 4 years, and then when Trey Taylor's here, his second year as a sophomore, assuming he doesn't redshirt, he'll take over the reins. Well, now you have this situation with TJ Lateef, and the fans are kind of like excited. He's got some energy, some electricity to him. They're excited about it. But, okay, I think he's a little bit worried. Number one, how does Dylan feel about the success, the first game success of starting of TJ? And then secondly, is Trey Taylor a little bit like, wow, I was supposed to, take over from Dylan and go, slide right into that starting position. Is TJ Lateef going to be interfering in the middle of that? And I think Rule is trying to finesse this. You see it in the media, like every time he has a press conference, he, makes a speech about Dylan Raiola as if he's dying of pancreatic cancer. I mean, he broke a bone playing football. It's kind of ridiculous. And I don't know what's going on, but that's where his messaging just throws me off sometimes.
Well, there's,
this like the Zen master.
Well, I think there is so much emotional attachment to Dylan.
Yeah.
That, Rule gets a little quirky when he talks about Dylan. That now it's become, you can't talk about Lateef without talking about Dylan. I
know, man.
I think that's, that's a Rule thing. And, I don't know the whole relationship, but it definitely is a relationship that they talk about a lot, and Rule brings him up.
Healthy? Is that healthy to have a coach-player relationship like that? It's very odd.
Yes. If the respective coach can handle it with his team as well, and it doesn't appear that he's playing favorites, I don't know. I don't. Those two may have had some deep talks. I don't know what things that are going on, so we don't know that. But let's talk about Latif. But when we talk about Latif, it seems like we got to bring up Dylan. And I'm sure Dylan
I
is
agree.
helpful, and Dylan is, he'd love to be out there. But yeah, it's just, that's why I said before UCLA, you know what, Dana and Rule might be a little bit looser because we got to do things for Dylan.
Yes.
All right, this is what Dylan can do. It's like, hey, okay, we don't have to worry about Dylan anymore. He's out for the year. Now we can just focus on Latif and let's just let it ride.
I agree.
Yep.
Love you guys. Hey, love the
big-
show.
Thanks,
Thanks.
BJ. Thank you.
Here's another like interesting thought here with BJ brought up, because he's like, has it thrown into the wrench? Has there been a wrench thrown into Nebraska's plan? Right? You then go, who's plan? Nebraska's plan or Raiola's plan? I think
The
that's
Raiola family.
the
plan.
Raiola family plan.
Yes.
Like, I think that's an interesting question to ask of like, has the injury affected how the Raiolas view where Dayton fits into things? And maybe has TJ Latif playing well and TJ Latif getting this excitement and TJ like made them more privy to the fact of like, hey, it may be more difficult for Dayton to beat him out or to, progress better than him or to eventually like be the successor to Dylan. Like I'm curious as to maybe them seeing like, has that, and that's just, I'm not saying it is. I'm just curious. Like that would be a question I would ask. Like, has this injury, just how you view where Dayton falls into Nebraska football, has that changed your view on that? Because there is excitement about TJ Latif. There is but
I do want to say this. I do want to say this. I said this right away after UCLA. Let's just give it 2 more games.
Yes, you're right.
2 more
right.
games. Let's enjoy for 2 more games. Let's see where this is. Okay, because you're going to face Jim Knowles and Phil Parker.
Yeah, you're right.
If there is success, that answers any question. There's no more gray.
Sure,
it's pretty black and white on where you are moving forward. I don't know. I think again, my initial reaction when this news drops at the top of the hour that Dayton Raiola has decommitted from the class of 26 is that this is a Dayton decision on looking at depth charts, and maybe somebody is giving him the opportunity to come in and compete right away.
I would be curious as to how quickly does he commit after to elsewhere, because it's not that this has been a secret. Like, it's not, it's been a secret. Like, TJ Latif has been like, stoked away and we haven't heard of him. All of a sudden he was this 2-star that came out of nowhere. The entire time TJ Latif was a more highly regarded prospect than him.
Let's just, if there's no injury, the injury has really changed things, because if there's no injury, Nebraska is looking at 2 straight years of Dylan, and the process continues of Dylan comes back, and then Latif would be, Latif probably then doesn't play, and they could still redshirt him.
Yeah.
Which
they still can.
They still can redshirt him.
Well, no, they can't, because he played the Akron game and the Houston Christian game, and then he played the UCLA game.
Oh, that's right. He'll play 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So the injury really kind of caught everybody off guard.
Big time.
Now that you have to do the math.
Well,
because you get now 3 games, and this is before the bowl game, because decisions are made before the bowl game.
Sure.
3 games of starting. We know what we have. Now we've seen it in action in actual Big Ten games. What do we do? Best case scenario is both guys come back and they battle it out, and then they're not together when you start the 27 season.
Well, and then, Gary, wouldn't there have
Worst case scenario, they're both gone.
Wouldn't there have been, though, heading into the 2027 season, like TJ should be the guy, but there's this mystery with, well, Dayton's going to be behind him, and maybe we're going to we would have called it a potential quarterback battle, right?
Yeah.
Between Dayton and TJ Latif if the injury never happened. Now, I don't think, granted, you're right. I have to stop because now I'm getting Latif build after the UCLA game. Like, we still have to see
be excited. I mean, there's remember, he was really good in high school. Nebraska won a battle. So he is what they thought he was. He just is thrust in a little bit earlier, and you have to make a decision on his future earlier than you plan.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the injury. But there is more than enough to like about what Nebraska has in TJ Latif.
Without a doubt.
It's just, who is your roster built best for that helps you win football games at the University of Nebraska? Because you don't have to go all Shane Beamer and say, hey, this time next year, we're going to be in the playoff hunt. That will be expected next year. With Nebraska's
Yeah.
roster, despite the schedule in the conference being more difficult, the expectation next year will be we are waking up on the Tuesday after, was it the third release?
Yes.
The third release of the rankings, and Nebraska is either in the bracket or they are close to the bracket and they control their own path.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it, it's just assumed. So whoever gives you that opportunity with the way you're building your roster as it currently is and what you're going to add, that answers your question. That's why they pay that guy $9 million. That's why they don't pay us $9 million. We sit behind a microphone and we get to speculate and all this kind of stuff. But the news of the morning, Dayton Raiola has decommitted from the class of 26. Geez, what did Rule say to him when he went and saw him last week? And I would be curious if this was like, hey, I get it. Or it's like, why is my phone going off? Dylan!
Dom, where do they go? Why are they not in the building?
We're back. Somebody better put some eyes on practice. All right, we're back with more of Gary and Matt after this in 1620 The Zone. Hey, how good did my gal look like last night on her path to be the comeback player of the year?
Your
Yeah, I didn't know she was performing. Maybe I would have switched the channel.
Hey, big game, big setting.
My mistake.
Red Panda.
Yeah.
Red Panda stole the show at halftime.
Hell yes.
In the background of ESPN.
American
she was
hero.
Performing. She was back at Madison Square Garden. She didn't look like she'd been on the shelf.
Not at all.
Due to an injury. She looked like she was in the prime of her career at her age, and that's really unbelievable. And I don't know what she's taken, but whatever she's taken, other people should take it. Because Red Panda right now in her comeback
like Sean
has
Livingston.
not looked as crisp and precise and strong and mentally focused as she does now. Basketball Hall of Fame, when is it going to happen? But last night, unfortunately, I had no idea what the people on ESPN were saying because she was in the background. And
That's all right.
like, wow, there's Red Panda. How come they're not showing Red Panda?
Yeah, maybe Dylan should get some tips from her on how to dominate rehab.
Or unicycle
physical therapy.
Very tough.
I was panicked for a second. Like, oh, did I miss like a Caitlin Clark news, or like did I miss
No,
like
who
her
cares
playing
about
basketball, or did I miss? I didn't.
Apparently, did not see it.
No, I didn't.
She
I did
was
not see Red Panda performing.
Unbelievable. I mean,
I
especially
don't
on
wish
that
she would have
stage.
texted.
She should have gone straight to Broadway last night.
Just down the street.
All right.
You think she's performed on Broadway? She's had to have performed on Broadway at some point, right?
I don't know where.
I don't know. She's performed in the Alamo Dome though, which is like Broadway.
That is Broadway.
It's
That's
actually
what
it's
they
a
do
few
say
blocks
that.
away from Broadway.
Alamo Dome, the Richard Rogers Center. That, same thing. Exact same thing.
Okay, let's do a little reset in here because people are tuning in and out. And so continue to share the Rivals post, okay? We just spend a nice little 20-minute discussion on this, but Dayton Raiola has decommitted from Nebraska. So let's do a little timeline here. So Rule was out recruiting last week, and he was in Buford. The Raiolas are a business. It is strictly a business. It is a business of quarterbacks. They have a lot of interest in the University of Nebraska. Their son and daughter live in Lincoln. One plays football at Nebraska. The other has been involved in Nebraska's football operations. Dad is one of the best offensive linemen to ever play at Nebraska. They have a strong connection. Their youngest son, Dayton, just decommitted. So he was the lone quarterback in Nebraska's very, very small and not ranked very high recruiting class of 2026. That recruiting class can start signing, is it December 2nd?
I think it's 2 weeks. So, yeah.
So we're coming up on so 2 weeks, like December 2nd. So Dayton has decommitted. And let's just read some of this stuff.
Okay.
No, and this is it. People have
Opinion.
thoughts, and people are trying to connect the dots. I initially said this looks like a business decision, looking at the depth chart and my future and wanting to play and my path to playing sooner than later. And maybe it was a mutual decision. It could mean more. It could mean, as some, and this is immediately like 4 texts. The purge is beginning. Could mean that. I think let's just focus on Dayton right now. Dayton's making a decision that is best for his football. Ross writes in about Dayton into the Equitable Bank inbox. I think you could probably draw a lot of conclusions here. Make no mistake, anyone that knows the Raiolas knows that Dom makes all the decisions in that family. I'd guess Dylan is on the move. Chris says, Dayton decommit. This is exciting news. Maybe now we can hire a competent offensive line coach. John says I didn't expect Dylan to be back next year, even before he got hurt. Dayton was never going to be the starter at Nebraska, and hopefully this means that Rule has finally figured out that he can't keep Uncle Donnie.
I don't know if
Best of luck, Dylan. We should have put better players around you. Nebraska wasted your talents.
I don't know if
Jesus.
the 99th quarterback ranked in this class of 2026 and the 1600th prospect really, who by the way probably was never going to play at Nebraska unless there was an injury. That's kind of how I viewed it. Like Dayton, it was going to be a big climb for him to improve, to go ahead and be better than any of these guys to actually start over them. Okay, so I don't think his decommit necessarily automatically means, hey, Dom's leaving and Dylan's leaving, and he really didn't have a clear-cut spot in the quarterback room. He didn't.
Lotto's chafed nipples on Twitter.
Fantastic.
Jeez. Wait. From 8 Mile? Lotto?
Hot take.
I get you 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow.
There will not be a single Raiola in Lincoln next
Beautifully
year.
done.
I don't know if that's like overly hot. Like there is, even before Dayton decommitted, there was a world where Dylan could have been like, man, I don't really want to compete for a starting job next year. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get paid this amount of money, and I will go ahead and be the odds-on starter at Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will go and be the odds-on starter for Tennessee. Or, maybe he goes to Penn State. Who knows, right? I don't think there was, even before the Dayton decommit, a world where that definitely didn't happen. So I don't know if that's necessarily a hot take.
I'm going to look up team rankings right now. Let's see if. Oh, I'm scrolling a long way down. So I don't think that Rivals, which was the first to announce this, has taken him out of their recruiting. Yeah, he is still on the board. So he committed to Nebraska officially September 22nd, 2024. It seems longer than that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That still is.
So
it does
Rivals
seem longer
hasn't
than that.
taken him off Nebraska's list because I was looking at where Nebraska was ranked. Currently, Nebraska is 71st in the country, and they are last in the Big Ten. Now, they have 9. Take Dayton out. They have 9.
Yeah.
They have 91 underclassmen that are currently on the roster. You're going to have some grandfathered guys that are going to go out, so you're getting closer to that 105. They're going to have a bigger class in 27, so they're trying to do the math. And remember, there's going to be some guys that are going to be asked to leave.
Oh, big time.
There's going to be some guys that are leave on their own, that are scholarship guys that are inside of that 105. So that's going to open up spots for portal guys. Just, you know what? This is the part of big boy CEO football, is it never ends. While you're trying to win games, you're trying to figure out your current roster and your future roster, because January 2nd will be here before you know it. And Nebraska, they could have upwards of eight official visits for the Iowa game. They already have guys that are in the portal that are coming to visit. So all of this is going to move really, really quick. Will this be a year where guys that are going to go into the portal stick with Nebraska and they play through the bowl game? I mean, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't, because January 2nd is when it starts. So you could play in the bowl game.
Yeah.
It'd be wild if Nebraska's starting quarterback played in the bowl game, then he was in the portal a couple days later. I don't think that's going to happen. But this is all going to move really, really quick. They're going to need a decision from Emmett really soon, because I don't think you have to declare for the NFL until the middle of January.
I believe it's the middle. I can check.
But Nebraska does not have a bona fide starting running back.
No, they don't.
In 2026 on their roster if Emmett is not here.
Yes. No.
And so they're going to have to do some portaling. But if Emmett comes back, you're not going to portal for a running back. Now, interesting. Kwan Lacey lashed out at Lane Kiffin on Twitter last night, basically saying congratulations. Former Nebraska recruit who decommitted, went to Mizzou for cash, then ended up at Ole Miss. Who knows? But you're gonna they're gonna have to have some decisions by players. For example, I think you have to know. I think you have to know from Dylan. You have to go Rule's relationship with the Raiolas. I think you have to go to Dylan and go, we good? Well, we good? Because if you're not good, you keep one, you probably keep Marco, but then
you got to go and get another one.
You probably got to go get 2.
At least.
Or you get a late high school that was hanging out there that is not coming to bang. He's just coming to hang.
Yeah.
And you go get a portal guy. So all of this is going to happen really, really quick, from the end of the Black Friday game to decisions that have to be made. Then you find out your bowl site and then you got to figure out your roster.
Well, I think you need
and then
to,
you got to and then you start tampering and doing all
Yeah.
the behind the scenes stuff.
I think you need to find out from Dylan ASAP after the season's over. After the regular season's over, you have to find out from Dylan ASAP, because you would build your team differently in the portal with Dylan than you would with TJ. They're just very different quarterbacks with different skill sets that would have different types of players benefit their style of play. So I think you need to get a decision from Dylan so you can make sure, hey, we're going to go out and get the bookends on the tackles to make sure that you don't get sacked over and over and over again. On top of that, though, I think you're gonna. I wouldn't be shocked at all if there are a ton of players who aren't playing in the bowl game and who decide, it doesn't matter that I need extra tape or anything. I'm going to go right into the portal, because you only have one portal cycle this year now. You only have one shot as an athlete to get in the portal and get to a program that has a better situation for you. You have to bide your time, and you have to have a good agent, and you have to get connected as soon as you possibly can. So the whole bowl games don't matter anymore and people are decommitting before they happen. It's going to be on a whole other level, because you don't have a chance to re-rack in the spring with a second portal window.
My mailman tweets at Gary Sharp 1620. Hello, Todd. With Nebraska's philosophy to recruit a quarterback every year, this will always be a possibility. Again, I'm going to go with the mindset that Rule went to see him in person. The family had a discussion. They probably said, "What's your plan, Matt?" Because if you're Dayton, think about this. You don't think your brother's going to get hurt, so he's going to play the entire year. And so Latif just gets some mop-up duty, and you're going to walk in here in a couple of weeks, and you're kind of going to be on somewhat even footing with Latif.
Yes.
Because he will have played 2 mop-up games, and you're walking in the door in spring. Instead, brother gets hurt. Latif's going to get 4 starts. Am I doing this right?
The 4?
UCLA, Penn State, Iowa
4.
bowl game. So 4 starts.
Yeah.
You can kind of see the writing on the wall, and you say, hey, out of respect, I don't want to come there and then leave, because I think that's might be a worse optic than decommitting now, which you could make sense of. So I'm wondering if that discussion happened in person with the family making the business decision, and Rule didn't wake up today and he goes, maybe Rule said, hey, can you wait?
Yeah.
We don't do anything on Wednesday. Okay. Can you wait?
Sure.
And you can tell me in person that this is going to happen, but don't announce it publicly until I get back to Lincoln.
Yeah. Maybe I could,
and then Wednesday we don't have any availability, and so you can drop something like this. And I'm playing conspiracy theory here.
Well, I don't think that I don't think
that's a conspiracy theory.
I don't think it's a conspiracy theory.
Put two things together.
Yeah, I think that's just you connecting the dots. I really do think this is kind of what I mentioned earlier, and you just said it with the whole even footing, right? Like, TJ Latif has always been a more talented quarterback than Dayton Raiola. It has always been assumed more than likely he would be starting over Dayton Raiola. But you don't know until the guy plays Power 5 football, until you know. Well, unfortunately for Dayton, we all now kind of know that he's very capable of doing this, and that they're even UCLA being bad at defense, you see the bones, you see the foundation, you see the, hey, you can build off of some things and make this guy a good quarterback. The fact that that's now out in the air, to me, did change the situation.
What if this is just a Raiola thing at quarterback?
In what way? That like it's Dayton just
no.
Is going
What if Dayton just pulled a brother?
Well, the brother did decommit twice before he went to Nebraska.
He stayed committed to Georgia, and then he decommitted 9 days before signing day.
But this is a little different. This is a lot different.
But there are but again, how many quarterbacks? Because you want your quarterback to build the recruiting class, so you get them early.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks stay committed that long to a school? And then all of a sudden at the last moment, remember, this is quarterbacks.
Sure.
Like the flipping of running backs, wide receivers, other positions happens more frequently. That, you know what, I gotta look at my options of where I'm going to play, because a little bit of Dylan looking at Georgia, there wasn't the, I don't know. Remember,
I think it's very different.
They're a business.
They are.
They're a business.
So they're a business.
So that's why I maybe throw that out there.
I think you're right, and from a business perspective, yes, that this is a Raiola thing of like, hey, we're going to make sure we make the best decisions for ourselves every single time. I think you get where I'm getting though, where the how good Dylan is and how good Dayton is in those situations.
No, I'm
Those
just
are-
talking about
those
the
are different.
scenario. Just the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna make the Raiolas will always do what is best for them and best for their family. And I don't think anybody would really do anything different.
Would anybody be surprised if Nebraska encouraged this?
No.
We're back with more after this. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, there's some inaccurate stuff that is out there this morning as we welcome you back in. You may have heard, you guys looking at me, you may have heard that the governor of Louisiana talked to Lane Kiffin for 2 hours.
Yes.
That has been dispelled by somebody whose name was mentioned in the conversation, Matt Moscana, who is a afternoon talk show host on the ESPN affiliate in Baton Rouge. Very, very popular, very, very talented, and also lives in a city which I will be in tomorrow, where it's going to be 80 degrees.
Good for you.
This is not accurate. I was at the event as a guest of a client. The governor said jokingly, "All I want for Christmas is a new coach. I don't know who it's going to be. Ask Matt Moscana. He knows more about it than me." No mention of speaking to Kiffin, at least not. So the thing came out yesterday that Kiffin and the governor of Louisiana had talked for 2 hours.
I tuned
Good
in.
luck, Lane.
I tuned into Matt Moscana's post game on his YouTube channel after LSU lost to Texas A&M. It was one of the most electric and entertaining things that I had ever watched. The guy he is awesome. He just sat down in a chair with a nice glass of whiskey and a cigar and was just calling a bunch of people a-holes and everything like that, and a bunch of like, you don't know anything. And then he goes, all right, let's get down to it. And he actually broke down the situation perfectly as it was going to happen. Like he was like, so all this to say, he's very tuned in. Like if there was a person in the media who would know, it's this guy.
That's the same station that Barstool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what they do. When they won the College World Series Skeens year, they were both doing a post game from the Hilton. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. All right, the news of the morning. This has been the discussion for the last hour. It would not be a discussion if it wasn't for the last name.
No, it wouldn't.
Nebraska would not have taken Dayton if it wasn't for the last name. I mean, they would not have. They would have pursued another quarterback to get their quarterback in the class of 26. But because of the name and because of the brother is the current starting quarterback who is on the shelf with a broken leg, the uncle is the offensive line coach, and dad is one of the greatest offensive linemen ever here. This is a discussion as Dayton Raiola has decommitted from the class of 26, 2 weeks from signing day. So Nebraska is without their quarterback in this class. They are now down to 9 commitments. Rule said the other day it's going to be a small class. We maybe only take 2 more. It is currently ranked the worst because of the lack of commitments in the class. They are last in the Big Ten. So the more I think about this, I don't think this. I'm going to go again. I'm not tying this to brother.
Yeah,
it could eventually lead, but right now in the moment, if Nebraska and the Raiolas had a mutual agreement on Dayton, and they knew what was going on in Lincoln, and trying to find a path to their son to play, or maybe the kid said, you know what, I love my brother, but I don't want to be in his shadow. I mean, there could be a bunch of different things. I think this is a smart decision for Dayton, and it'll end up being a smart move for Nebraska.
Can you have that last name be a backup? Like, can you have that last name just on the team and people know who he is, and he being the most talked about and popular backup quarterback? Like, and not in a way of like, oh, he's going to play, in a way of like, oh, he's just there.
I don't know.
Can you have that last name?
So the people that have been around Dayton and Dylan, their personalities are completely different. Like Dayton, like gets on his brother.
Yeah.
Like Dayton is doesn't have a lot of like not really quirky.
Yeah.
Seems more normal.
Sure.
Where Dylan seems to be a little bit awkward socially at times.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They have a good relationship. I think this is a business decision by the family concerning their senior in high school, who in 6 weeks has to go to college to begin his college career. And I think they would like him to play sooner than later. And no path at Nebraska.
There is no path. There was unless there was an injury or he made this like massive player development jump that frankly we haven't really seen from the quarterback position at the University of Nebraska. He was not going to play. He wasn't.
All right, no Jay Moore this morning. Jay is traveling back to Omaha. He had a little snafu, so that's why I didn't see him last night. So he won't be on today. John Walker coming up at 9, Creighton in North Dakota tonight downtown. Well, people love Owen Freeman. Got the toughest shoes to fill in college basketball. He ain't no Kalkbrenner. But we'll talk to John about what's ahead for Creighton, because then they go to Vegas, where there will be some schools that need to perform well in Vegas, including San Diego State, who got beaten double overtime last night at home against Troy.
Oof.
They're off to a rough start. There hasn't been like an unranked team beat a ranked team yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bye games that are being won. There's a lot of John Rothstein tweets that are being put out there.
You've mentioned that, and there hasn't. You're right. There hasn't been the unranked being a ranked, but there has been those weird, like, oh, you're paying that team to be here. That shouldn't happen.
Also, Brandon Vogel will stop by. That's all in the last hour. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. To answer Ed's tweet, no. Ed was very interested in a local quarterback.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I don't think that's happening.
He's going to Alabama. All right. Welcome to Nebraska. The lowest ranked player in a recruiting class decommits, happens to be a quarterback, happens to have the last name of a very, very popular name around here. And we spent the last hour talking about the decommitment of Dayton Raiola from the class of 2026. Intrigue.
I mean, there is intrigue in it.
Oh, yeah. Because it's the last name.
Well, but it also could,
So
potentially.
you think it's a domino?
Or
nay?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I can't. Could it be? Yes, it could be. It definitely could be. It definitely could be a domino. It definitely could be a foreshadowing for things to come potentially. I'm not saying it is. I don't have any inside information when it comes to that, but it definitely well could be in terms of that intrigue with how, like you said, a family that's very important, a last name that's very important. His brother is the quarterback's coach. His uncle is the offensive line coach. It's very clear that his father has influence, on the program. Like, more than likely, I agree. It's probably just Dayton isn't going to play as the quarterback at the University of Nebraska. It's good for his football future to actually go and play somewhere else and get playing time. But it could be a domino effect. It could be a sign of things maybe to come.
We will see. Again, the portal opens up January 2nd. Nebraska plays Saturday night against Penn State, where we get another opportunity to watch TJ Lateef play and what they will do with TJ Lateef. One injury, man. One good coaching hire. One injury can throw things. But this is a good,
There you go.
This is a good problem to have. Nebraska is not fretting having a backup quarterback going to Penn State. Now, is it going to be difficult? It would have been difficult for the number one quarterback going to Penn State because of what Penn State does. Penn State has more athletes. I don't care if they're 4 and 6. Okay, they have strengths where Nebraska has maybe perceived weaknesses that have gotten better, but it's time to show. I don't know. Nebraska is going to come out of this okay. That's just my feeling. It has no Kool-Aid glasses or anything like that. Smart people will handle this. So Nebraska's in a position when the 26th season rolls around, either Dylan Raiola or TJ Lateef is a starting quarterback. There you go. Put that on the board.
That's a hot take. That's blazing.
Now, the portal, though, so Nebraska is going to have to get a quarterback. Wow, what if all 3 quarterbacks that could return do return next year? I'd be like, damn, Glenn Thomas, you get a raise.
Davila's really weird. Like, isn't Davila kind of in a similar situation that Dayton's in regards to he's still young and he's probably not going to be the quarterback in Nebraska, and he's got even guys who aren't even on the team perceived to be ahead of him?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Like, how do you convince another quarterback to come onto Nebraska's roster that has any sort of future?
You find Gramstad.
Yeah.
That's the ideal quarterback that you bring in for Nebraska's current quarterback room.
Yeah.
That you say, you'll have a chance, but you have an understanding of what we have here. That's why you maybe go get an older portal guy that'll be great in the locker room.
Yeah.
That will, he won't disrupt things, but he'll go and compete. And if by chance you have a rash of injuries, they're not going to derail you where you completely, turn upside down your game plan. I think that's probably the way to do it. But everybody's doing this. This is when you recruit well at quarterback.
Sure.
You're going to have decommits. Okay. You have to live with it. That one of your high-profile quarterbacks isn't going to stay here the whole time and wait behind somebody else.
I mean, how many times has it happened at so many other programs over the recent history of college
exactly.
football?
But you have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So that you're always it doesn't completely crater your program with one guy transferring. That you make the right call on the right quarterback, and you always have a plan. But thinking, our quarterback's only going to be here for 2 years, maybe.
Well,
the starter could be here for 3. So we always have to be recruiting the quarterback position. And that's why I appreciate Nebraska. Dylan falls out of the sky into your lap, and then you're like, whoa, okay, he's got the baton. Who are we going to hand it off to? We got Lateef.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get Trey Taylor. And then, I'm kind of looking at their 28 quarterbacks. There's some guys that are interested in Nebraska that are high profile, but what does the profile of a 28 quarterback look like?
Well, and then I guarantee they're probably thinking, what does the profile of a 29 quarterback look like if they're kind of doing the 2-year deal? Gary, like Carson Beck is Miami's quarterback. He was originally Georgia's quarterback. Julian Sayin was Alabama's guy. Now he's Ohio State's guy. Fernando Mendoza was a guy who was at Cal. Now he's at Indiana. Like, this is just kind of the shaking and moving of modern college football at the quarterback position. And you're just kind of happy that Nebraska's sitting pretty in terms of the prospects they have and the prospects they'll get. But I wouldn't mind if I agree. They're going to have to go ahead and get a veteran guy who knows his place and is like, he's capable, but he knows that, hey, a guy that's very much happy to be a Power 5 football player. I wouldn't mind, though, if they went and kicked the tires on a 26 quarterback that was just raw, just kind of a raw guy that maybe they think, all right, if everything goes haywire, maybe this is like the shocking development project in high school that just like
a walk-on.
Yeah. Not even I don't know. I'd get a legitimate recruit. I'd get like a 3-star
Is that person
guy
available out of high school right now?
I don't know.
2 weeks out?
I don't know. Probably not. More than likely, probably not. And the guy that you probably could coerce could come to your team is probably committed to a G5 program, right? But you do need 2 more quarterbacks, and I just don't see how you get another guy that isn't the archetype that you described.
Like, the scramble, though, this late in the process is Nebraska has really stopped recruiting 26 quarterbacks, for over a year. So they really haven't had anybody on campus that they were interested in. They shut her down on September 22nd, 2024. So you would be going back, and you would have lost your leverage. You'd have to. I think the portal, an older portal quarterback that is coming from a place where they're a backup and they get it, and you're going to have to probably pay him a little bit, not to the extent that you would pay your top quarterback, but that's why you have a general manager and you have a coach that understands the roster, and you got to make some decisions. But I think some players have to make decisions first. I think Nebraska lets guys make decisions before Nebraska makes decisions.
Sure. If I were Nebraska, I'm not saying that I would be like, screw the Raiolas or anything like that, but I would be a little annoyed in the regard that, hey, we honored your commitment, and we honored your commitment not necessarily because you were an awesome prospect and you were a slam dunk. We honored your commitment because of a bunch of other things, and we were good to you in that regard, and we didn't recruit anybody else, and we kind of gave you as good of a runway as we can for you to come in here and play. And now we don't have a high school quarterback prospect. Even if you have Trey Taylor, even if you have TJ Lateef, I still think you want to bring in a high school quarterback every single year because you don't know if these things don't pan out.
What if a Saturday night at the Rose Bowl changed everything, and it changed the thinking of Dayton Raiola?
I think it
not factoring in his brother, but factoring in the guy that performed at the Rose Bowl and will perform Saturday in State College and then Friday on national TV. That changed it, and you had a discussion.
Yeah,
and Nebraska says, "I get it."
You don't know until you know. Like, you don't know if these guys are going to pan out until they play Power 5 football. Yeah. And so in Dayton's mind, and even in maybe Nebraska's mind, they thought, hey, Dayton Raiola could come in here and maybe he develops, and maybe we put TJ out there and he flusters against Power 4 opponents.
This is but
now we know.
The reason this is a discussion is the last name.
It is.
Okay. People lose quarterbacks. Nebraska just happened to lost a quarterback whose brother is the starting quarterback who is injured, and the backup quarterback is all of a sudden he is running for governor in the state.
Yeah.
Get the hell out the way, Pillin. TJ is going to be moving from campus down to the
City Hall.
the mansion, the governor's mansion. It's just what has changed, though. We may look at a point Saturday night in the Rose Bowl that basically it became crap on the Raiolas. How things turned on a Saturday night in Southern California.
Well,
because the tone this morning has been building, okay? Because Lateef's the new hot toy, and things move quicker, and everybody seems like they're in a really good mood, and Nebraska won. And I say, give it 2 more games. Good start, give it 2 more games. But this now has opened up the floodgates of crap on the Raiolas. Very interesting. Very interesting. David writes in what we've been saying. Dayton's last name was not a Raiola. Would he even get a sniff at Nebraska? My guess is no. Another David. Morning, gents. So what is the going rate for a third-year quarterback who is slow foot, stands like a statue in the pocket, and takes 6 sacks a game? Can't make reads fast enough to see the open man and can't complete a pass beyond 10 yards. Since the coach is in love with him, he will probably make more by staying in Nebraska. That would be unfortunate.
I don't think that's an accurate description of Dylan. I think Dylan is much better than that. But I'll say this.
Can I ask a question, though, about Dylan?
Okay.
Why through this whole process of this season, whenever Dylan is talked about in Lincoln, it's not about football. It's about leadership. Why is there not a football discussion about what he can do from the people that are around him daily?
So maybe they don't want to hurt his feelings. Every discussion that Matt Rule has about Dylan Raiola, what is the common theme? It's
leadership.
But here's another one, Gary. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. I mean, he's literally said that about him. Where I'm pretty sure after the Michigan game, he said at the podium that he told his entire team it's not on the quarterback. It's not Dylan's fault. This isn't it. So that's what it is. Why is that though? Why is the theme always it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's not your fault? Is it because you're afraid that if you coach him hard or you stick it to him or you tell him, hey, it is your fault or you have to get better, that he'll leave? Right? I mean, is it a big deal for Nebraska football to have Dylan Raiola be a great quarterback, or is it a big deal for Nebraska football for Dylan Raiola just to be their quarterback?
That's a good question.
For them to be like, look, we have a 5-star. Look, we have this talented guy. Look, we have this guy who might go to the draft. Is it more important for him to just be around or be great?
There's another part of this discussion that I'm gonna look for some positives because I think this is a good thing for Nebraska. And the reaction by fans. TJ Latif's a pretty good quarterback, isn't he?
He is.
All right, it's Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, the news of the morning that one of the better gifts that the Raiolas have given to the Nebraska media is Dayton decommitting in the middle of a game week. What if this would happen during a bye week? Week later, we'd still be talking about this. But Dayton Raiola this morning, through Rivals, Chad Simmons announced that he is decommitted from Nebraska. The lone quarterback in the class of 26 has been committed to come play with his brother since 2024. Matt Rule went and watched Buford play last week while he was out on the road recruiting. I think this whole discussion shows you that Nebraska has something in the guy that's going to start on Saturday night at Penn State. And furthermore, you really want to pay top dollar for 3 quarterbacks?
No. 2. Up.
And you may be forced to pay for 2, and you already know that.
Yeah.
And are you going to pay for 3?
No. God.
So, I got to feel that this is Nebraska may have initiated this. That's just, I'm starting to read now. That's my gut is telling me, both sides made a business decision.
I'll just go back to with his last name and all the conversation that would be around him. If he's not going to play, then what is the benefit?
Here is Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Thanks for holding.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Great listening to you every morning.
Thank you, sir.
I just thought of a different angle of this, possibly.
Okay.
From a parent standpoint, did the Raiolas look at the offensive line as not being able to protect their oldest son, and maybe they can't protect their youngest son? Is this something that is on the horizon of, is there not enough talent on the offensive line, and is it not being coached well enough? And they're making a decision based on that.
Ooh, they'd be throwing their uncle under the bus.
Big time.
That'd be throwing brother under the bus. Yeah.
And family stuff happens. You can't help that. And is that a discussion with the coaches of, hey, we might be making a change in the offensive line coach, and that could be an issue too.
Ryan, thanks for the phone call. I don't know. I think that I'm a big proponent. I don't think he's going to get it because of the guy at Iowa. I think Donnie Raiola has a first-team All Big Ten lineman.
Justin Evans?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get it because of Logan Jones.
He won't.
But I think Justin Evans should get an All Big Ten honor. And I know they do first, second, and third team, and they do honorable mention.
Think Spindler might get an honorable mention?
Honorable mention, yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing like it.
But I think Justin Evans, who moved to center, we don't even talk about him, except when we see him at the second level blocking downfield.
Or in the screens.
You don't have, he doesn't have the all of a sudden Creed Humphrey against Denver. All of a sudden we're throwing the worm burners on snaps. We haven't really, we talk about Justin Evans when we see him blocking. But other than that, he's just doing his job, which is kind of nice because the center position has really been solidified from Ben Scott to Justin Evans. But I think Justin Evans should be on an all Big Ten team.
I agree.
I hope I'm right here, and I hope we're all together in this. There's no way that Emmett Johnson is not on the first team all Big Ten running back list, right?
No.
There's no chance.
No
chance? Okay.
It's him and Haynes. That has really just been the 2 key running backs in the conference.
I'll give you a different guy though.
Kamalafe?
No.
Hyman?
No.
Not maybe Allen. Allen's been playing better at the end.
2 running backs that I think are all Big Ten first team are 2 guys that began the year well off the radar.
Hemby?
Emmett Johnson and Raymond from Rutgers.
Oh,
Antoine Raymond.
Qual.
No.
He had.
Emmett's not going to be the top running back for the Heisman. That's going to be Love. I don't know that Rule will get his trip to New York City, but I mean, he's in the semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award.
Yeah.
Which good luck picking out of those running backs from Emmett to Love to Hardy to Lacey. But I think okay. I don't want to trust the Big Ten, but you've solidified that Emmett's going to be all Big Ten running back. Now, will Nebraska get another one?
Sure.
Will Nebraska get Sierra Wright? That's why I want to start a campaign for Justin Evans.
to get multiple.
But I mean, you could have the offensive line coach at Nebraska could have an all Big Ten guy.
Yeah. Well, also too though,
The whole family thing is such a it's never an easy conversation. That's the problem.
well,
It's never an easy conversation because it's always you can't just talk about the football. There's always the business and there's always the family and making people happy and hurting feelings.
but you know what this stems from, Gary? This stems from the fact that Dylan Raiola just
TJ
has not.
Lateef looked pretty good.
No, it's yes, but it also it does stem from that has a lot to do with it. But what it really comes from is if Dylan came out and he had reached his full potential in terms of a 5-star quarterback and what he could be, and if he actually improved his mobility from last season to this season, and he was tearing it up, we would not be having this convo.
Let's just end it. I want to. There's nothing more to talk about this. Let's just finish it like this. Dayton Raiola is not good enough to play football at Nebraska.
Done.
Nebraska has got a really good quarterback room where they've got his brother, they got TJ Lateef, they got Trey Taylor on the way. Nebraska maybe made a business decision that is best to save face for the family, that they can cut ties and they can let Dayton go find a place to play because he's not good enough to play at Nebraska. And that's a credit to Nebraska that Nebraska's got the quarterback room in that position that a guy like Dayton really has no shot of playing at Nebraska unless there are multiple injuries and go, hey, Nebraska finally did something sensible. And you know what? You play big boy football, you're going to upset people. And if you're not willing to do that, and you know what, do what's best for the program, then you're going to be in the unemployment line. So that's what I'm going to. They watched him and they said, God, guys, we got on campus. We're coming. We don't want you to be a filler. Okay. That wouldn't be fair to you. Go somewhere where you can play and you fit in. I'm making up this conversation. Not making up. I'm going to say maybe that's the way they rolled with this. And now they move forward. And now we figure out who the starting quarterback. I think the starting quarterback in the first game of 2026 bold prediction is on campus.
He has a 58% completion percentage in high school. Okay.
All right, let's talk about the portal.
Cam Cook from Jacksonville State would be an awesome running back addition for anybody. I would get addicted to Cam Cook. The guy's a stud. He's got 1,300 rushing yards on 6 yards a carry at Jacksonville State. That'd be, if we're talking about the portal, that's the guy I want.
So speaking of the portal, because
that and Reynolds out of Penn State, the tight end, Luke Reynolds, that would be a massive get. He's got, the athleticism and length and size that he has, he's an NFL guy.
So speaking of the portal, Nebraska is already, they've done the junior college recruiting. They are in on an Oklahoma State defensive back who's going to come here. Right now they have eight visits for Black Friday. They're trying to go big, like more than that for the Iowa game.
Okay.
And on the heels of what Rule said about we have the money, I'm going to temper the expectations on Nebraska in the portal. Because I think when he says the money, it doesn't mean they're just going to chase the top guys in the portal. I think that they will spend smart money that fills the roster. They will be able to take some cracks at the big guys. But more than anything, and I'm just going off of Rule using examples, their increase in resources will not only help them get a couple of guys. Again, I don't think they're shooting for the stars. I think they're shooting for the smart ones that can help. But their extra resources, I think, will be better at retaining the roster in guys they want to keep in Lincoln that they don't want going somewhere else, whether they are a full-time starter or they're close to being a starter where you've developed them, and then what you've developed, they go somewhere else and start.
Before this whole $40 million roster thing and the rev share became a legitimate thing, Matt Rule talked at a press conference and said, when I was at Carolina, one of the things that I was told was you have to make sure that the highest paid guy on your roster is on your team, is from your team. It's one of your guys. You don't want to bring in someone else who develops elsewhere and they're the highest paid guy. And the ethos of Nebraska football, in my opinion, under Matt Rule has been player development and culture. A really easy way to mess up the culture is to bring in a player, pay him the most money, have nobody know who he really is, and have him come in and walk around and be like, oh, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the dude. I'm here to save you. I'm here to, you know
who
that.
you sound like?
Who do I sound like?
Listen to Mark Pope's postgame last night after Michigan State throttled Kentucky.
Yeah.
They went all in on NIL, and it doesn't look like those pieces are fitting together.
And he's always, and to your point about the smart money, and I know you listen to everything. What has he always said? Desperate team sets the market. Desperate team sets the market. Desperate team sets the market. He's never wanted to be the desperate team. I think Pat Stewart knows we're never going to be the desperate team. Yeah. So that's why I think it is you are just based on what he has said.
Yeah,
keeping the culture, paying your guys, making sure things are strong and tight, and also trusting the player development. Right? Nebraska wants to be the program that takes the guys from high school, develops them into really good players, and then goes ahead in the portal and adds supplemental pieces and spends their money correctly. And also, too, an easy way to build a fan like connection from the fan base to the team is to keep the same guys around, to see guys progress. That's something we're missing in college football. Right? I think it'd be hard for me to be an LSU fan and root for a different team every single year.
Yeah. So that's why I do like the retaining, because Keona Davis is going to cost him a little bit more money.
That's fine.
And he's a guy that you can't even have thinking about doing it again to get in the portal. Jason tweets at Gary Sharp 1620. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind talking about Dylan. The dude had a fantastic year, and it's like it doesn't matter because he wasn't perfect.
Yeah. See, I want to go back to your Keona.
What if he was Dylan Johnson? What if Dylan Johnson had started 22 games at Nebraska, and Dylan Johnson had put up some good numbers, and Nebraska was 6-3, and he breaks his leg in a game that makes them 6-3?
It wouldn't be as dramatic. It would be very much, I like the kid, but this is business. This is how things go. He's going to have to come back, and we'll see if. I mean, do you know what we'd be talking about? We'd be like, Nebraska's going to have to make a real decision of whether or not they want to bring him back.
Yeah.
Right?
Jason is right, though, and you and I have talked about this. You can't have a normal conversation about Dylan.
You never can.
It's not just about football or whatever. It's always Uncle, Brand, Rule, Future, 5-star. It's never got to be better throwing the deep ball. I mean, no.
He does. No, you're right. He does.
But he got good leadership. And it appears that he does, but why don't the people that are in charge talk about his football stuff?
Because
talk about the football stuff.
Because I've always felt like on the Dylan conversation, when it comes to holding him accountable, at least from a outward perspective, it seems like you're stepping on eggshells.
Eddie 2.0, just to throw another wrinkle into all of this. Why not? Said Rule has gone to Penn State.
No,
it's too quiet out there.
Stop it. It's too quiet. Did you think about me when I told you, I go, hey, things have gone really quiet with Elko. It seems like, maybe he's on his way to Penn State, and then he signs the extension. I always imagine when I have a off the wall prediction that doesn't come true, that there's just a Gary Sharp out there somewhere just thinking, kid missed that one.
Kellyanne texts.
Hey, Kellyanne.
If he were Dylan Johnson, we'd have a new offensive line coach.
I really do think that Rule likes they come from the same offensive line coaching tree and philosophy. Like that does exist. Like the connection between Harry Hiestand and how Coach Hiestand, the legendary Notre Dame football offensive line coach, who Donovan Raiola learned under, like that connection between those three and Rule, that exists.
Flaky Jake, this fan base is incredible. All these idiots want Dylan gone. Watch Lateef will go 7-16, 2 interceptions on Saturday, and the same clowns will be saying,
"Whoa,
well, we got Dylan."
Whoa, that's the first time we've heard a comment like that. That's the first time someone has been. See, that's another thing too. That's the first time someone has really been Team Dylan, fully on, fully. Hey, I'm right. We have the nickname for the Teefies. What do we have for? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's as many people coming in.
The DR-15s.
The Raiola Rollers.
Dillies. Ooh,
the
Raiola Rollers.
Speaking of decisions on coaches, so there's some key jobs that and the only Virginia Tech has been spoken for. I think Nebraska, like Addison Williams has had a good year.
Yes.
He's also a guy in the South that has been a defensive coordinator. And people really like him. His players like playing for him. Like, I got to imagine that somebody's going to come after him.
I would imagine.
So, does he want to stay? And if he stays, he's not going to be the defensive coordinator. I don't think there's a world where it's co-DC. They would have to pay up. But let's look at the other side of the ball. Take out any discussion about the offensive line coach. What do you do with Marcus Satterfield?
You keep him. You just pay him less. And if he doesn't want less, then you're just gonna have to be like, okay, well then you can leave. We're not gonna pay you 1.4.
Are we impressed by the tight ends this year? Outside of one guy?
Early in the year I was. So far, even the one guy, even Luke, has kind of taken a dip, hasn't he?
Well,
I mean,
Saturday night is a game that is built for Big Ten tight end football.
Well, wouldn't you think just having a backup quarterback and having a safety valve at tight end be built for the tight end room? Like
that, and then the way that Penn State will play you.
Yeah. And on top of that too, like Heinrich flashed, and we were like, oh my God, Heinrich is taken, like he's progressed into an actual like tight end, and it's kind of the last 3 games. It's been a little meh.
I'm gonna defend Harburg a little bit, and it's not his fault.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, he's back in Love. You guys know that?
Love B?
You're gonna be drinking some Dr. Pepper. If you know, you know.
I don't.
You gotta look at endorsement deals. We just assume that you would be able to slide from playing quarterback that size an athlete and play tight end. Just like that.
Yeah.
It has been more of a transition.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the physicality, the things you got to do differently. You just can't just be an athlete. But like that room now sliding through the last 2 regular season games into next year, and whatever you do with Satterfield, because you can't pay him again $1.3 million.
No.
Is you got some decisions to make. I really like Luke Sorensen, who's coming out of high school. Okay. If you're going to have a small class like 26, you got to have a hit rate. Like the Odoms, the Pumas, the Sorensens, those kind of guys got to get on the field sooner than later and play next year, but not just a little bit. They by this time next year, got to be in a rotation. If you're going to have a small class, you got to have a good hit rate, and you can't have attrition early.
No, you can't. God, no.
So, but what do you do with, Mark Way will come back. Bonner will be back in the mix. But what do they do with Carter Nelson? Do they have a plan for Carter Nelson moving forward? Because if they don't, then introduce him to the portal, because I don't know where he fits. But the tight end for 26, I mean, you got to start at the top. You make a decision on Sat, and then everything falls in line, right?
Well, also to your Carter Nelson point, if you just look at it from just like a surface level perspective, why isn't he the tight end 2 over Heinrich Harburg? Heinrich Harburg, like you just said, made the transition from quarterback to tight end. Carter Nelson, granted, been playing 8-man football, has been playing in that skill position his entire career. With his talents and how athletic he is and all the things that made him a national prospect, he should have developed and should be to the point where he is a wrinkle in the offense in front of Harburg. He isn't. I think with Satterfield,
the physicality thing of properly blocking people probably gets in his way, that he's better utilized on special teams, which, I mean, do they have a plan for him next year to properly utilize him?
I wonder what their plan for him this year was, because he's not even playing anymore.
Well, I think it was a little bit stunted because he was a little bit behind.
Yeah, with their injury.
And then, sometimes it's on the player.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's on the player to get better and to do what you're supposed to do, and to be good at your technique and have, run precise routes, block when you need to block. But it's, I didn't think we'd be sitting here figuring out, okay, what's going to happen with Carter Nelson? If Carter Nelson went in the portal, would it surprise you?
No, it wouldn't. Because I think that there would be a team out there that would say, oh my God, we're, A&M or a Notre Dame or any of those teams that were interested in him before could probably say, hey, you know what? We have a tight ends coach that is our tight ends coach, not the former quarterback, former OC that's been kind of slotted into this position. I'm not saying saying Marcus Satterfield. I'm just saying what the pitch could be from those teams to Nelson. I wouldn't be surprised if Carter Nelson hopped in the portal.
All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll shift over to a little basketball. Creighton is on the zone tonight to take on North Dakota. downtown. Spread on that game?
26.5.
Okay. Seems about right.
Do you have a scouting report for me at all on North Dakota?
Reggie, this is a big night. Hey, Jim Simons.
Very cold.
Jim Simons, head basketball coach at Westside. This is a huge night for you. Big night. Where is Jim going to go tonight? Do you know Jim?
I don't know Jim.
So Reggie Thomas, who played at Westside, is at North Dakota.
Okay.
Now, Omaha plays Concordia. Tate Oddbody transferred. He was at a Division II school out of Westside. He transferred to Concordia. Logan Wilson started at Westside. He is at Concordia. This is going to be a big night for Jim Simons. He can go downtown for the first half, go over to Baxter for the second half.
Probably.
Yeah. North Dakota is not as good as South Dakota.
Okay. That was
There
going
you
to
go.
be my question.
There you
Great
go.
analysis, Gary Sharp.
Yes. They have played a lot of California schools, I've noticed.
Is there a spread style of basketball they're trying to get ready
No,
for?
it's just like the Cal Baptist, Cal Riverside, Cal Bakersfield, like the fellow mid-majors.
Maybe they got like family out there they wanted to visit, go on a nice little vacation. Maybe they're like, hey, the coaching staff was like, I haven't been to California in years. It'd be a good idea to schedule it all out there. Take a nice little trip. Here, Bakersfield is beautiful this time of year.
All right. Also, Brandon Vogel, we'll give him some time to digest this whole Dylan versus Latif versus the family versus Rule versus the fan base.
That's not what it is.
Am I missing anybody?
Versus the media? Did you put the media in there?
I'm telling you, isn't it nice to go on the road in a Big Ten game on Saturday night and you're not fretting about a backup quarterback? You're actually like, okay.
I thought you were about to say,
Things have changed, man. Big boy football.
I thought you were about to say, isn't it nice to fight about things that probably won't matter in the long run?
Hey, sometimes you're not good enough to play somewhere, and the school makes a decision in mutual agreement. And you're like, yeah, do what's best for you. You can come here, but
oh yeah,
maybe that conversation happened, and that's an okay conversation to happen. And it's better to have it happen now than later. What does that mean down the road? Who knows? Stay tuned. That's Nebraska football. 8:43 on Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. Oh man. So okay. No, we're not calling that person. That's called somebody from my computer.
Should I lie and be like, Gary's been on the phones every break? Every break, Gary's been on the phones. He's been calling everybody he knows. Right, Jimmy?
Oh, wait a
Well, you
minute.
just admitted it was a lie.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
that kind
hold
of
on.
gives it away.
Okay.
Are you good? Stop being a boomer over there. All right, you're way more technologically advanced than
No,
to be
so
calling people.
I'm trying to share a contact off my computer, and I accidentally called this person, and it's not calling from my phone; it's calling from my computer. So
Okay.
now that I've hung up, they're going to wonder what's going on.
Hey, Coach Satterfield, how are you? What are you? How's your room looking? Have you negotiated your contract yet?
Like, what's that discussion like? Though?
What, between him and Rule? Yeah. Hey, man,
You're
I'm
gonna
not
take
paying.
about a $500,000 pay cut.
Yes, it way more than that. Probably a 50% pay cut.
So I was telling you before the break, and we'll talk to John Walker top of the hour. Creighton and North Dakota play. Reggie Thomas plays for the Fighting Hawks. And then you have a couple of former West Side Warriors that play for Concordia out of Seward, who is playing Omaha tonight. So I asked Coach Simons, the head basketball coach at West Side, where is he going? Is he going to go to the Chi or is he going to go to Baxter? And he said, the timing is terrible. Week 1 of high school hoops, and we have our final day of tryouts tonight for our JV and freshman teams.
That sucks.
Oh.
That's terrible. So we can't see either of them?
Oh, dang. That's pretty cool, though. And then you got Jaden Booth, who is hooping it up for Samford. All right. Hashtag roll side. Now a basketball school.
No, it's not. Stop it. Even I'm not an expert. And even I know that's a lie.
I think West Side will be number 1, preseason number 1 in boys basketball.
Yeah,
It'll be down a little bit this year.
You gotta give me
Usually
like
pretty damn good.
like a debrief. I want to because Omaha Mac getting into high school basketball. You got to
Yeah.
give me the quick little rundown. I might be like one of the things that you've done in front of me where you're like Peter, what high school basketball game am I going to tonight? And Peter just named you a game, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm going there. Maybe I do that. Maybe we run into each other. Maybe I go ahead, I go to some of these high school games, and I text the Omaha Maverick coaching staff, hey, I think you should take a look at this guy. Coach Brown, I'm really in love with this kid.
Mike answers a question I posed earlier about, and I was being serious. I wasn't being sarcastic. Like Emmett Johnson is first team All Big Ten running back.
Who would be over him other than Haynes?
Now, the only reason I say that is because
There's two of them.
There's
There's 2 first-team running backs.
they'll look and, I mean, Emmett solidifies it by a big night Saturday and then against Iowa. Like if he finishes up strong, there's no denying. But then we're back. We're in the All-American discussion. So David writes in. He goes, "Are you so sure? Remember, this is the Big Ten. They will reward running backs and their offensive lines, and teams that are winning." Well,
but if Nebraska ends up winning,
but Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana don't have like a well-known like running back. Like Emmett Johnson, what Emmett Johnson is doing, remember behind an offensive line that is kind of beleaguered,
yeah,
which helps elevate his status.
big time.
I don't think I just wanted to confirm in my own head that the Big Ten is not going to screw Emmett Johnson this year. They might want to screw Nebraska, and sometimes we think we have a tendency to think maybe a little bit more highly about Nebraska than others do. I think in this case we all think the same way, that Emmett Johnson is a lock for first team All Big Ten running back.
Do you remember who the 2023? Oh, dang it! My point is not going to be made here. I was going to say Kyle Monungai was on a bad Rutgers team, ended up being first team All Big Ten. He didn't, unfortunately. It was Blake Corum and Travion Henderson, both of which are in the NFL right now playing. Blake Corum, by the way, keep an eye out for him. If he's available in your fantasy football leagues, he'd be a great playoff pickup. He's been getting more carries behind Kyron Williams.
Just remember that Matt last year lost his fantasy football league and had to do a punishment.
Guess who's the leading scorer in that league and in first place in this division? Guess who just clinched a playoff berth? The first playoff berth clinched in the league.
Okay, congratulations.
I know. Jonathan Taylor, I love you.
Sometimes you can finish last in your conference and recruiting rankings, and the next year you're in the playoff.
I got a 4th place schedule.
James Franklin, by the way, has arrived in Blacksburg to be announced as the Virginia Tech head coach today.
I thought you were about to say he just arrived in Baton Rouge. I'm like, what's going on here? It was a ruse? Is he with Lane Kiffin's family?
I will get to the bottom of it because I will be in Baton Rouge tomorrow and Friday. So I will get to the bottom of this. I will figure it all out. I will see if I see the Kiffins anywhere. John tweets at the show. Not Team Dylan, but what if Latif sucks?
Jeez.
Can we just wait? We will have no backup next year if Dylan goes. What do we do then? One game at a time, boys. Hey, been preaching it. Just give it 2 more games, and it'll answer all the questions that you may have.
Well, yeah. You have been the calming voice in this all in terms of he's got to play Phil Parker and Jim Knowles. Let's just take a step back. It's a good start, and the quarterback position in Nebraska is in a really good spot. Do you think that if Latif, okay, this is an asinine question, but it has to be asked.
No.
If Latif doesn't play well, it puts more money in Dylan's pocket?
No.
Okay. Because then if he doesn't play well, maybe you don't think he's has as bright of a future as maybe you anticipated, and you're like, hey, we got to make sure that we hold on to Dylan. This is what I said. Asinine question. But that's just the thought that popped into my head, because it just is all boiling back to, like, these discussions just make his performance against Penn State and Iowa all that more important, because we are feasting in a way. We all are incredibly happy that, hey, Nebraska's going to have a good quarterback next season, regardless of who's there. But if he were to play bad, then that feeling and that optimism, that excitement that would linger into 2026 would disappear. And I like being happy. I like being optimistic.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of Dylan purgatory right now.
I think so.
Because he's not bad, but is he good enough to get Nebraska to where they want to go?
Right now, no.
So that's why we're in a little bit of purgatory.
Can he? But do you think he's plateaued? Like, do you think he still can get better? Because I think he has, if he doesn't get more mobile. I don't think he can be that much better if he doesn't improve his mobility.
Again, who helps you with your current roster, the makeup, what you can and can't get? What quarterback helps you do better? And what is the play caller? I think the play caller's conversation, even though he does it well of promoting both guys because he has to, and I think he likes both. I don't know. These are good discussions to have.
I mean, he called his best game for the backup.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. He called his best game for the backup quarterback.
What if it was just executed really well?
Do you think that
he's called good games, but they haven't necessarily been executed as well? Now that answers your question where you're going.
Do you think that he's called enough? Do you think that he called plays for TJ that put TJ in precarious situations that didn't utilize his skills in the best way?
I know they did have a couple of new wrinkles.
They did.
So they opened up the playbook a little bit. That's why I said let's wait the next 2 games. All right? I
don't want to wait, Gary. I want to speculate.
I know. Hey, if Nebraska can run the ball the next 2 games, Jimmy could be the quarterback in Nebraska and have success.
I wouldn't go that far.
But it pays well.
It does pay.
Probably pays more than it pays here.
Hey, you're wearing an Adidas hoodie. You're already halfway there.
Oh, yeah. 3-stripe life.
Hey, TJ's best friend is not Dana. It's Emmett Johnson.
Or Luke Lindenmeyer. Or Dane Key.
Or the 5 that are up in front of him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But see, you're not dreading Saturday night with the backup quarterback. Oh, God, we're going to State College. They have more athletes. They're a heavy favorite. These are games that Nebraska never wins. We got a backup quarterback. Oh, geez.
God bless UCLA.
You're like, whoa, TJ going to roll in. All right. He's going to be chill. California chill on a cool Pennsylvania night.
Is he high?
You haven't asked that question. I know he's not, because they have these things called drug tests.
That's just how they are. Okay, for anyone.
No.
Yes,
we're not.
It is.
No
the
way.
People who are born in California. I know people born in California. I do. You do too, but I do too. Some of them, not all of them, are dozy like that. Some of them definitely are, though.
I can tell you for a fact that my 3 nieces, all under the age of 9, do not look like they're high.
My cousin Levon definitely does.
Well, he probably is.
He's 6
It's in
years
your
old,
family.
so I don't think he's doing
It's in your family. All right.
It's
last hour
my
coming.
family.
That's what it says on the blog. All right. John Walker's coming up next. We do have Creighton basketball tonight against North Dakota. We'll talk to John about that and moving forward. And what's moving forward look like for Hudson Greer? That and Brandon Vogel on 1620 The Zone. All right, John Walker, we're going to push him back a segment because John Walker is working on some breaking news.
More breaking news today?
Wow. He texted me. He goes, any chance y'all push me back to 9:10? I'll break down Jay's news. Promise. So could be some stuff.
Stay tuned, Debo. He'll have an answer for
working
you.
on.
Hudson Greer playing tonight against North Dakota, maybe?
I mean, you've been teasing it.
I don't know anything. Just maybe. So he'll join us coming up at 9:20, but he has said that there will be Some breaking Jays news. So we have Dayton Raiola decommitting from Nebraska.
Do we know when Dollar
And,
Beer Night is at Creighton? That could be it.
The Yukon game.
Oh, okay.
So North Dakota Creighton tonight, pregame at 6. Tip is 7. And then the postgame show. Matt.
Yes. Thank you for promoting me. At least somebody on the station promotes the Jays overtime show. Oh, have you
You
listened to
got
the promo? The promo doesn't have. It's like, Austin Jacobson, Blue Jay shoot around, and then listen to John Bishop. How about we put
And then back to the satellite after that.
Yeah, no, it's Jay's overtime, baby. It's a great show. Joey Colbert had a beer with Joey yesterday. We were talking about what our strategy was going to be for North Dakota, what we wanted to talk about, things we
Title
were looking
on.
forward to.
That's why I got a drunk text from you during the afternoon.
I did not drunk text you during the afternoon.
Wow.
I did not. That's a lie.
He was texting me.
I
though.
did text him about Luke Cornett.
Mhm.
I was happy to see my Commodore out there. Luke Cornett, I'm almost positive, was on that Vanderbilt team that lost to Northwestern in the first round of the 2017 NCAA tournament.
We'll get you a City Connect jersey.
Speaking of Northwestern,
Oh my God, yes.
yeah, I know.
Whoa, you're bringing up cat news? What do you?
No,
What do you-
not cat news. I'm just bringing. So Pat Fitzgerald interviewed at Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't like.
So
that.
if not now, ever,
Okay,
like
so-
of the jobs that are open.
Well,
Now he didn't
who?
strike. I don't think he would do well in the SEC.
He
just
wouldn't.
because it's kind of cutthroat and
wouldn't.
he doesn't have. Remember, he hasn't been in the portal business, the NIL business. He's not
He-
bringing any players with him.
He also doesn't have a familiar recruiting base in Arkansas, right? I mean, he didn't. Now he has gotten some guys from Texas, like he has gone down to the Southwest area, but like it's not as if he has had this big base in the South that he's familiar with. So he would have to make a lot of really good assistant staff hires to supplement that. Can I give you a dumb one, like a really dumb one?
Of where he might go.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if money talks and Marcus Freeman left Notre Dame and he decided to go to LSU, took the LSU job? Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss. LSU says, you know what? We think that you'll be able to connect better to this fan base and this recruiting base and all this than you're the guy that we hired that also was a Notre Dame coach. Here, come have all the tools, come have one of the best jobs in the nation. I've always said that the only other college football job that I thought Pat Fitzgerald would leave for, and it would make a ton of sense for Pat Fitzgerald to go to, was Notre Dame.
What about Michigan State? You said earlier this season, Gary, about Jonathan Smith, that it might be getting a little sideways up there. Could that be one to stabilize things?
Oh, great one. Good one, too,
I
Jimmy.
think so even though he has been vindicated,
Yeah, in a way.
okay. So
He should not have been fired.
No, I still think there is the lingering Pat Fitzgerald is this, not Pat Fitzgerald was that. The was that being the kind of coach that he was. So you might have to go to a place to quote unquote rehab momentarily before you could go to Notre Dame.
Yeah, you don't think that he could be out of coaching for 2 years before
No,
going
I
to
think
Notre
there's
Dame?
still,
You
still, it's not like he didn't know.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's why I
So
said.
I think,
yeah,
like
sure.
you could go to a place and kind of hide and do well and
But-
then go reach for the stars.
That's
so to
why I
speak.
said, that's why I prefaced it with, you want a dumb one, because I think that Notre Dame would probably look at maybe another coach or two before it would happen. But I think from a,
Because he was courted for the Notre Dame job at one time, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I mean, he's always, and I think he's Irish. I don't know if he's Irish Catholic. I don't want to put that on him.
Don't think that's a requirement to be the head coach at
But
Notre
I'm,
Dame.
Hope not.
but I'm saying where he grew up, like being a Chicago guy, like being an Illinois dude, like that is, if Pat Fitzgerald were to be the head coach of Notre Dame, there would be a lot of Chicago people who root for that team that would absolutely love it. Now, you're right. Hiring him off of what he's coming off of compared to hiring him off of 2020 when he almost won the Big Ten championship with Northwestern, which is wild. Like, yeah, there's a difference. I think Jimmy brings up a great one. Michigan State is a great one. If Kirk his son is going to Iowa. If
Isn't
they
his
don't,
son at Iowa?
I thought.
no, he's I think he's at Iowa now. Yeah, he graduated. Yeah, because Lulu's in school, so his son's at Iowa now. So his son's at Iowa. if they don't hire LeVar Woods, I think Pat Fitzgerald would be a perfect fit for Iowa.
Just, I'm sure he's just going through the interview process to get back, and because you ask him about the situation at Northwestern, why you're no longer the football coach at Northwestern. So I think he's probably going through that. But I'll tell you, after watching the Arkansas athletic director last night, who is now the charge of the committee, I can see why they've struggled in football at Arkansas. Wow.
I didn't see the interview. Was it a tough? Do I have to go back and watch it?
I think the college football committee chairperson, they hurt themselves more. They do more harm than good by doing these post-ranking interviews, because it almost feels like they're just making stuff up. It is now, this year, it's become who has beat you. And then you look at, for example, the way they're treating Oregon. So Oregon's in trouble. If Oregon loses to USC, they are out. They are out. And also, to be fair, they are still getting the credit for winning at Penn State, because as he said, it's a tough place to play. So if Nebraska wins Saturday night, I want everybody to know that they wanted a place that the committee looks at as a tough place to play. Kind of, they're doing Oregon a favor, because if you look at Oregon's two best wins, those two teams are combined 10-10.
But
but the way they describe Oregon and then turn around and describe something else, or they get into the Notre Dame Miami discussion, it's almost like they're making things up. The post-ranking interview where they answer questions from Reese Davis, Joey Galloway, and Greg McElroy almost makes it worse. They should just release the rankings and say, we're good. Or have everybody that's in that room be asked questions, because they go from the ESPN interview, then they do a Zoom, but it's just the committee chairman. Have everybody in that room. Let's get some transparency on what the coaches are looking at, what the athletic directors are looking at.
Did you see where they
why Utah is still getting a lot of love and their guys on the committee?
Did you see where they ranked Texas?
Yeah.
They're 17th.
Yeah, they're done.
But okay, at the same time, though,
they're done.
I know they're done, but what have they done to be ranked 17th? They lost to a bad Florida team. They got dominated by a top 4 team in Georgia. I don't give a crap about the score. Go and watch that Ohio State game. They weren't in it. Ohio State controlled that game. So they've played 2 caliber playoff teams and got thrusted in both of them. And then they lost to a bad Florida team. And then their best win is against a Vanderbilt team who's beat nothing but teams that didn't have their head coach later on, or had backup quarterbacks.
Well, you know this because we discussed it yesterday. It's where you are when the rankings come out. It's also like Miami. Losing to Louisville is not great, but Louisville is, there's 7-3 and could still win the ACC, I think.
When Louisville? Yes.
Louisville and SMU are both 7-3.
They both.
They lost to them right before the rankings came out. So timing is part of this as well. So the timing of where Texas was on the initial ranking to stay there, and then they finally fell with Georgia. Here's another thing from last night. And by the way, the breaking news is what I've been alluding to. Hudson Greer is having his red shirt pulled. John Walker just officially broke that. He'll talk to us here in about 10 minutes. Look at Michigan, by the way. So Michigan has Ohio State. And Michigan isn't going to make the Big Ten championship game. But do we think that Michigan is going to jump 9 spots by beating Ohio State?
They have given Texas a better shot at making the playoff than Michigan. And Texas, by the way, Michigan's loss was to Oklahoma, who now is a college football playoff team. But I could argue that Oklahoma team was probably the best version of Oklahoma that we've seen all year.
And Oklahoma should be ahead of Alabama, and they were last night. So good job by the committee on that.
But that Oklahoma team was damn good, and it was clear that Michigan was still trying to figure out their identity, right? Now, the USC loss still isn't great, right? But the fact that they're ranked a spot behind Texas, and they have losses to ranked teams, and Texas has a loss to Florida. What are we doing? How does that make any sense? And then also,
that's why I say you're making it up as you go, and every team gets a different set of rules of how we place them. And if it's about who you lost to. We don't reward good wins.
And
We talk about losses more than we talk about wins.
But Gary, Georgia Tech makes no sense to me. The fact that they're 9-1 and they're 16th, right? Look, yes, they lost to NC State. Every other team though that they played in the ACC, they've beaten by more than one score outside of Wake Forest, who is a good team this year.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the best case scenario of any of the conference out there is not the SEC, who probably will get 5 in. Big Ten will get 3 in. Your basketball conference actually is in a really good spot, but they need Texas Tech to lose in the conference championship game.
Oh, the Big 12?
Yes. Because
to
if
get
they
more than
lose,
one team in, yeah.
because they get more than one in, and they still might get more than one. I don't know about the love for Utah. That doesn't strike me as a playoff resume. Oregon's resume is a little bit, but there's a lot of teams that don't have like a bona fide playoff resume. But look at this. The Big 12 really could screw things up if Texas Tech gets beaten in their championship game. Because if not, and Texas Tech continues to win out, they're going to be a bye team. I believe that they will be a bye team, even though I would rather have a home. I'd rather play at home than have a bye. Yeah, so what? You got to play an extra game. You get another couple weeks off after that. But if Texas Tech loses and the Big 12 gets dual teams in, you also are knocking out either Notre Dame or Alabama.
That'd be big.
So they could, the Big 12 is the one that can throw the fly into the ointment here by not having their champion win. But then there's also the scenario of Georgia's in a great spot because Georgia won't go to Atlanta. And Georgia can sit there and go, oh, this is great. And Georgia might end up with a bye, not going to Atlanta.
I got a question.
You got to play the system. And if the system will play you back, but the committee should not, they should not talk after the rankings. Just do the rankings and nobody talks except for the talking heads on ESPN.
Real quick, do you think that, let's say that happens, 2 Big 12 teams get in. Do you think they would find a way to, because you said Notre Dame or Bama would be knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
You think they'd find a way to screw Oregon out of it?
I think if Oregon beats SC, they're the third team.
It's done.
Yeah.
You think? You don't think that? What if? Because who does Oregon?
Because
play?
Oregon wouldn't. I don't think you could. If Oregon beats USC, who you have ranked, would fall. I don't think you can penalize them for winning and then putting them.
Okay.
Dropping them back.
But who? So Oregon's last game of the season is against Washington.
Yes.
If that's like a
if they lose, it's over.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But if that's like a double overtime, you nearly lose that game. They don't play good football. You don't think the committee could turn around and say,
I don't know because this is where the committee just makes things up as they go along.
Yes.
So their reasoning on Alabama, one was the rush offense. I mean, legit, they're 13th in the SEC in rushing, but they brought up that they needed 2 late scores to beat South Carolina, but did not bring up that Texas A&M needed 28 unanswered points to beat South Carolina. So what are we doing here? Everybody has a different set of rules they're playing by. All right, John Walker is going to join us in the next segment. Again, he has broken the news on Omaha.com about Hudson Greer. Will have his red shirt pulled, and so he'll play tonight in Creighton's game against North Dakota. Here is Tony on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, guys. Hey, if I'm miserable, I want everybody else to be miserable. So I've got a miserable scenario for the Big Ten, and I would love for this to happen. If USC were to beat Oregon, and then everything plays out, and then Michigan were to beat Ohio State, now I believe Ohio State would be out of the. Would Michigan get in or out of the Big? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then for Indiana to lose, I think you would have to knock out Oregon, and you would have to put in Michigan, or they leave out Michigan and Oregon. But I don't think they're going to ever give the Big Ten 4 teams this year.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely love for that scenario to play out.
That is wild, Tony. Thanks for the phone call. Indiana losing to Purdue. Oh, geez, how would you like to live in that state? So Michigan beats Ohio State. That draws a lot of attention. But they have 9 spots. That would be a monster jump.
Yeah. Well, Gary, you know that they have set up Texas. They set up Texas to make the playoff in the first initial ranking. They set up Oklahoma to make the playoff in the first initial ranking. They've now set up Vanderbilt to maybe backdoor their way in to the playoff. They have not done that for SC, and they did not do that for Michigan. Okay, it's
Vanderbilt
clear.
might be tough to jump Miami. Miami's in a little like weird spot because they need a lot of help.
But Vanderbilt's 14th. Like they're still kicking around the pond there.
But I don't think if Miami wins out, I don't think you can put Vanderbilt in ahead of them.
No, God, no. Oh
Yeah.
my God, no.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. But still, the case is if Miami loses, right, then who gets in? Vanderbilt, right? But if Miami loses, what does that do for Michigan? Nothing.
Under the AD from Arkansas, boy, there was some flawed discussion last night. I mean, just weak explanations on certain teams. Let's don't do the interviews anymore. And I know he just got there to be on the committee. I'm going to say, I can tell if you run a good athletic department in your particular sport. Like Raz was in charge of the basketball committee. Great job. What does he run? Really good basketball program.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to explain things, like talk football, how am I to expect that you know what the hell you're doing being the athletic director in charge of a football program?
Is this like a take it from Tua situation? Get him off the mic. Don't let him do any more pressers.
All right. Dayton Raiola decommits, and Hudson Greer says, I'm playing. That's what the morning has been. And John Walker, who broke the story, comes up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. This is Gary and Matt. John Walker of the World Herald is going to join us momentarily. The whole station has gone frozen, so we are live over the air. You can be live at Blue Collar Boxing. It's back in the Metro Baxter Arena coming up on Friday, December 12th. Listen to USC all week for a chance to win tickets. And put this on your calendar, the Save the Date annual Stuff the Truck event happening on December 5th and Saturday, December 6th at Westwood Plaza, 123rd and West Center. Woodhouse Chevrolet, Molina Healthcare of Nebraska, Westwood Plaza. The toys go to Toys for Tots. We've been doing this, our annual thing. We have a lot of fun. Put it on your calendar. The first Friday in December, December 5th, and Saturday, December 6th, as we welcome in John Walker from the Omaha World Herald. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Thanks for letting me adjust a little bit. We were in the middle of breaking some Jays news.
Oh, so why do you think that Dayton decommitted?
What's that have to do with Creighton?
That's
no. I don't know. I woke up and that was actually the first of two morning changing tweets that I saw. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about what the second entailed here shortly, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Like, I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense. Like they have they have TJ here now. They'll have Trey coming in next year or a year from now. So it feels like Dayton, or it seems like Dayton was kind of caught in that like rock between a rock and a hard place. But who knows, man?
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it because you broke the news. It kind of last week, the decision before the Gonzaga game that Hudson Greer, highest rated recruit, was had consulted with his family, looked at maybe some minutes, and said, I'm going to redshirt. Then Gonzaga happened, Maryland Eastern Shore happened. You see him not on the scout team, wearing a blue jersey in some video that was released. And then you break it today. Hudson Greer will not be redshirting. How did we get to this point a week later?
Yeah, we'll first and foremost, we'll find out from Greg McDermott explicitly tonight after the North Dakota game, what exactly led to this decision. But what I'd surmise, guys, is that Greg McDermott has consistently said he is looking for guys who will, quote, hook it up. And what Mac means by that is people who will just be consistent on the court. He mentioned after Monday's practice, that's one of the things that he loves about Jason Green. When he puts Jason Green on the floor, he knows what to expect. Mm-hmm. And so Greg McDermott is looking for guys to do that on the court and be a leader off of it. And on top of it, do all of that consistently. And, there hasn't been a lot of consistency through the first 3 games. And I know they played 2 vastly inferior opponents, and that Gonzaga might just be the best darn team in the country. But obviously there wasn't a lot of success through the first 3 games. Like, sure, you beat 2 vastly inferior opponents, but we all know, Greg McDermott knew, the players knew, we knew, guys, that the Gonzaga game was an early season measuring stick for this team. And now it seems that in this ever-changing search to find guys who will hook it up, Greg McDermott and his staff decided over the past 8 days that they would see if they had one of those guys in Hudson Greer. So that's kind of what led us to here. It's, really a kind of stunning turn of events in 8 days. But, you have to make a decision from the onset if he's going to redshirt or not, So I understand the initial decision. A lot has transpired over the 2 games since then. So I understand the decision that Creighton staff reached this week with Greer. So now we'll just see where they want to plug him in and what the 4-star freshman can bring to the court.
John, I was lucky enough to talk to Alan Huss on the post-game show on Blue Jay Overtime, and we started talking about Owen Freeman. And he said during that interview, he's like, look, we're not really expecting Owen to be what we thought he would be until January 1st. And I think that's been a sentiment that if you've been, and I know that you've kind of known that with you covering the program, but when you hear that, they're not expecting the Owen Freeman they got from Iowa until, Big East play. Does that change your outlook in terms of how you expect them to approach the Players Era tournament in Vegas?
I think so. I would think so. I don't know if it does in a vacuum necessarily, but when you take a step back and look at it from the macro, like, yes, probably. Because like I ask this, what decision could they make now around, the post that would, help Owen Freeman or affect Owen Freeman in that regard? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
It's not like, I guess what I'm saying is it's not like the Hudson Greer decision directly impacts Owen Freeman. And I know that's not what you asked.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Do you think that sentiment? Do you think that sentiment with Freeman not being ready until January 1st had something to do with Greer now his redshirt being pulled? Do you think those two are correlated?
Again, I probably wouldn't say so,
Okay.
just positionally, but like the urgency is there. Absolutely. Like I think you used the word sentiment. Like, absolutely, the urgency is there because the Jays know the Big East has not put together a quality or at least a high quality non-conference strength of schedule. Like the Big East as a league has really failed to seize marquee non-conference opportunities. So the metrics come Selection Sunday. How are we talking about Selection Sunday? The metrics come Selection Sunday, go all the way back to November. So like the games now matter still. And the fact of the matter is, Creighton squandered an opportunity in Spokane, and Kansas State is not going to be as good of an opportunity as maybe you hoped it would. Nebraska looks like it'll be a pretty solid opportunity, but the real thing here, guys, is the meat and potatoes of Creighton's non-conference schedule, since they did not seize the opportunity at Gonzaga, lies in Las Vegas next week. Yeah. We saw what happened last year when, as good as that team was, they won 9 straight in the Big East at one point. As good as that team was, they ended up getting on the 8-9 line and having to play a number 1 seed in the second round because they went 1-2 in Las Vegas over Thanksgiving week. So, that's why I said a few minutes ago, in a vacuum, the Owen Freeman decision, probably not, yada, yada, yada. But like macro, probably, because as you pointed out, Matt, I think it speaks to the urgency that this group has to win and to win now.
Mm-hmm. I said earlier in the show, and I appreciate one of our listeners, Jamie, who is a Creighton basketball fan. So I said a little bit tongue-in-cheek about Freeman. I said, does he have the biggest shoes in college basketball to fill? You can't replace Kalkbrenner. But I'm going off the sentiment that we get of people watching Freeman play for the first couple of games. And it's, if you don't, he's winded. He's not in basketball shape. He's still coming back. You say January 1, and I nod my head in agreement. He's not in shape right now to play in this system, but we got January 1 coming. But when you are a high dollar guy and you don't perform right away, 10 points a game in 17 minutes, the scrutiny that comes. Yeah. Like, I believe that Dix is going to make shots consistently. Who's the other guy that you think, okay, mixed feelings 3 games in, but you have enough faith in, yeah, they're going to be fine once they figure out what they're doing and they figure out the Creighton system? And it may be one of those 2 guys I just mentioned.
Yeah. No, I think Owen Freeman, real quick before I give you an answer, I think Owen Freeman will be fine. Like, this is not my answer, but I think Owen Freeman will be fine eventually. I wrote in my preseason preview on this team a month before the opener or whatever, or 2 weeks before the opener, that the early season success was going to hinge upon Owen Freeman's progression. And in today's World Herald, before we knew the Hudson Greer news was going to break today, or at least this early, there are 1,000 words on what Creighton is currently doing at center with Karam Konan and with Jason Green as Owen Freeman progresses and what that timeline looks like. So I'd already written that, and I'll tweet it out here in a little bit. And it really kind of dives into all of that. But I think it's Nick Graves. Like, I don't really think he's been tested as a guard outside of the Gonzaga game. And obviously that has nothing to do with him. It's the level of competition they've played, you know?
Yeah.
And we saw through the first half of that Gonzaga game that he was like, oh, wow. He was out of sync defense. He was getting beat defensively. He was out of sync offensively. He was missing guys that he had hit through the exhibitions and through the opener. And then he really started to settle in a little bit offensively through the second half of that Gonzaga game. So we all know, you know, look back to Ryan Nembhard as from freshman to sophomore year. Look back to Steven Alexander. Oh my goodness, Stephen Ashworth from his
That'd be a
first
good
year
combo
to his
of
second
those two.
year.
Yeah.
It would be a good combo, man. They'd be killer. You know. So, you know, like history suggests, and history will tell you that players take time to settle into Greg McDermott's system. And that does not apply to anyone more than the person who has to run it. That's why it's such a big adjustment for guys like Ashworth, who came in with 3 years of experience under his belt. That's why it's as much of a struggle for a freshman like Ryan Nembhard was. And obviously now you have a senior in Nick Graves who has to go through that same acclimation process. So I think once we get into January, get into February, he'll be really good because his ability to get to the rim in a pick and roll situation is something that Creighton did not have the past 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be.
So I think he'll be good.
Yeah, January 1's a good date to just then go, okay, what do we have here? Because there'll probably be some bumps next week in Vegas. They'll look good tonight.
Yeah.
There'll be some bumps next week. There'll still be some bumps along the way. But by January 1, you'll have a couple conference games under your belt. Freeman should be at full strength. Guys will fit more, and they'll find a role for Greer. And then you can go, okay, this is what this Creighton team is going to be. But can the Big East wait that long? Because the Big East needs quality victories. It has not been good in the conference so far. When we're talking about, does Georgetown have the two best victories?
Absolutely. Maybe who's UConn played so far? They just played somebody big in it.
To play Arizona tonight.
They play Arizona tonight.
And they played BYU. So they beat BYU at the Garden, and then they play Arizona tonight. But, yeah, I mean, Georgetown, right, like UConn, like that game's still got to be played. So, yeah, right now, Georgetown probably has the best two wins.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hey, good job on this. It's up on Omaha.com that Hudson Greer is having his red shirt taken away. I guess they're going to play. So you get to see him tonight against North Dakota. John, as always.
You know what I say, man? Let the kids play.
Yeah. Well, who can hook it up?
Who can hook it up, man? You got to let the kids play to find out.
I like that. That's why you connect so well with the audience.
To the youth.
No, to the youths out there. All right, J-Dub, thank you.
See you, Weston.
Thanks, guys.
And so John Walker, that's up at Omaha.com. I see what you're doing, Mac.
What is he doing? What are you seeing?
This might be a message to the guys that didn't have a red shirt decision. Not that they're going to all of a sudden be forced into a red shirt. But we got a dog.
Yeah.
We got a dog. And you know what? Some of you haven't been a dog for 3 games. We're going to let the dog come and eat. And he's going to eat some of your food. Okay? And you're not going to be able to eat the food. That's not what we're talking about.
No, we're not.
No, it just woke up.
We got a guy that's busting his butt. Message sent. And he's going to help us on the floor.
It's clear that Matt keeps saying over and over again, he's like, I just need a guy I can trust. He's like, I just need a guy I can trust that I'm going to put in. I know that they're going to do the right things. And I think that this message is basically saying your point. Hey, we got a dog that can eat, take away minutes from older guys. But it's also just saying, hey, those guys are at a premium and we need to find, and if you can do it, regardless of how old you are, whether you're from high school, whether you're a transfer, or how much money you're making, we got to play you. So that's what this move to me looks like.
All right, Brandon Vogel from Counter Reed will join us next with 1620 The Zone. So that last point, where do you think that what I just said came from?
Mac.
Yeah.
You want the humidifier? You need one?
No, it's not a humidifier.
Yes, it is. This is a humidifier.
It's a little here. Yeah, but not a
It's not a wooden fancy one. It's one that is just meant to lock in the juices.
what we got in here. Jesus, throw money.
Well, there's a Cohiba in there. And there's a Romeo and Julieta as well.
That's one I like too. What do you have the rest? Do you smoke with your buddies?
Then my buddy smokes cigars.
So he's a Fort Myers guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he's a Cuban, but he lives in Fort Myers.
Can I see it?
There's a couple in here.
Nice.
What do you like,
Light
Jimmy?
sweet.
You like something sweet? Yeah. Sweet. Here you go, Monte Cristo. You'll like that.
Yeah. Give him a Romeo and Julieta.
Yeah. What? All right.
Who's that?
We're apparently at hot mics. All right, welcome back in. If you like some cigars, thank you,
We do.
Nathan in Ohio.
We
yeah.
like a Cohiba. People on the YouTube
Yeah.
chat found out
Yeah.
about that.
All right, let's welcome in our good friend from counterread.com, Brandon Vogel. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
All right, let's just get right to it. What's next for Nebraska after the news today that the quarterback in their class of 26, who has a very popular last name, has decommitted?
Back to the drawing board, I suppose. I mean, it's kind of late in the game for this to happen for Nebraska, and we'll see. It's an interesting spot because with the emergence of and the continued snaps that Latif's going to get, maybe you can bridge it by just kind of redoubling efforts to keep both of the quarterbacks currently on the roster that have played for Nebraska. But at this point, it's just it's tough, and you still have the out of the portal potentially. But if you do what you want to do and keep both Raiola and Latif, that's going to be a pretty tough pull too.
Is like to you, because I asked this question to Gary, and I'm curious on your perspective here. Like, obviously, they're going to have to add a quarterback now because you just can't roll into the season with just two quarterbacks, right? And I think they're losing Gramscad, if I'm not mistaken. So, how do you convince a guy though to like come into this situation knowing, hey, you're not going to be the backup, you're going to be the third string, and also too, we have this 5-star coming in. His name's Trey Taylor, so he's going to be the next one. And then on top of that, you already have Marcos Davila. So if you're Davila, like Davila might leave too. So like, how do you? I understand from a top two perspective, you're chill, you're good. You have Latif and you have Raiola if you keep them both. But from a rest of the room perspective, how do you remedy that?
I don't know that there's a great answer out there currently, because you're looking for sort of a unicorn in that regard of a guy who knows in an era where they can transfer, who knows that they're going to come in and develop for a couple of years. I mean, what you're looking for is somebody who can really buy in to a lot of what Rule and company is selling. And one of the surprising things about this news is you thought you were maybe in that spot with the brother of the current starter, but turns out not to be the case. And like I can see the logic behind that decision from their perspective as well. But yeah, it's tough. And I mean, we talk about, and the coaches in particular talk about, and this is across the country, not just Nebraska, talk about parity. And I mean, I think one of the factors that it doesn't get discussed enough in that of just players being able to move is like, nobody has quarterback depth. It's like going to become, or if it's not already, the ultimate luxury. So teams with promising seasons, teams with unexpected seasons, it can all be undone by a simple injury.
Let's talk about what's going to happen Saturday night. You have a Penn State team that now with the injury, the season-ending injury to Aller, they have a guy named Allen and they have a guy named Singleton in the backfield. So they're running the football, and they also have two top 50 NFL draft prospects, one that plays left tackle, the other plays left guard. They're really good on the interior. Nebraska's not been so great on the interior. But rush defense, the way we look at it this year, and the metrics are not good, are we focusing on the explosive runs that stand out, like a run at the end of September by a Michigan running back? Or are we more concerned about just the nickel and dime body blows where Nebraska can't get off the field Saturday night?
Yeah, I think this has changed as Nebraska's gotten into November. And I think it's changed to the positive for Nebraska's defense. I think you brought up a key point there, Gary, with the Michigan runs in particular. Like, those absolutely changed that game. It was, ended up being a 3-point game. If you want to call it a 10-point game, I won't argue with you there. But against USC and against UCLA, Iamaleava got his and had a big night, but Nebraska did a good job. Like, I think that's exactly where they're at, is like they will live with the, kind of 5-6 yard gains, even if they're consistent, if they avoid giving up the 40 or 50 yard gain. And I think that is this game again for the Huskers. And they have the benefit of, I think it was their previous 2 games. And I think they've played to that in these last couple of games of, hey, we know we're struggling on the interior. Teams are going to gain some yards rushing, but from a numbers perspective that I was putting together last night for tomorrow's preview at Counter Read, like this Nebraska run game, without a lot of the things that you mentioned, Emmett Johnson's real good, but it doesn't have the O lineman that Penn State does, is basically equal to Penn State's. And I think that puts this game in a really interesting frame of reference.
So, Brandon, I watched the Indiana game, and Fernando Mendoza had an incredible fourth quarter and all that stuff. But if you were watching that game, you saw that he had to throw off his back foot a lot on that final drive, right? And why was that? It was the Penn State rush that has some legitimate guys, some NFL draft Sunday guys. Are you more concerned about that when it comes to Nebraska's offense, or are you more concerned about the run defense?
It would be more concerning if Nebraska's in a spot where that Penn State rush comes into effect. They basically avoided that against UCLA. I think like the number of true drop back pass calls for Latif was, I mean, he only threw 15 passes, somewhere around there. 15. Was 1 or 2, maybe. So they were able to do that because they were doing what they wanted in the run, and like the quick passing game worked. This Penn State pass defense is very good. And they're good in a way that doesn't necessarily limit where Nebraska's been. Like I think they lead the country in explosive pass plays allowed by percentage. So that's fine. Like the less Nebraska has to ask Latif to take a 5-step drop and, read 3 receivers and make a throw, the better off they are. Which is why it kind of takes me back to you've got 2 run games that are both kind of accomplished in different ways. Is Nebraska going to be able to keep Latif as comfortable as it was against UCLA? And it's a much bigger ask here.
Hey, the Williams 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against Northwestern seems like it's ages ago. And the special teams have been quiet the last 2 games. They haven't been asked to do a lot. Archie Wilson had some really nice, timely placed punts against UCLA. But this feels like the first time, and it's going to be back-to-back weeks, where Nebraska's success in special teams is matched by the other team. Penn State's blocked 4 kicks. What happens with special teams this week? In a game with small margins, does special teams come back and Eckler reminds everybody that, yes, I should get your award as assistant coach of the year?
A lot of interesting angles in that one. If this game goes kind of according to plan, which I think is both teams being able to run the ball, passing's not so great. Like it feels destined to be a game, not a game that probably looks that way with a 10-point spread or 10-ish. A game decided by which team is able to stay on schedule the most, which is a boring thing and not very exciting, but important. Special teams or turnovers. And both special teams units here are quite good. So it becomes one of those where one big play in that regard, a key punt at a high tension moment or one big return could be the difference. And you feel good at least about Nebraska's ability to compete in that arena, though they will have to compete because Penn State's good as well. And it's kind of a fascinating question that I've been thinking about for a while now of like, it seems like there's an obvious no-brainer answer to this, but if you had to rank the coordinators 1 to 3 based on results produced, what order are you going in? We don't have maybe that's a better question for after Black Friday, but I've been thinking about it.
That sounds like a great kind of read article that will be released pretty soon. How much are you paying for a transfer portal running back?
Oh, I wish I had a.
Let me give you this. Ahmad Hardy from Mizzou enters the portal. How much are you giving him?
I'm guessing without really having any great idea of the market, 500,000. Maybe that's low. Maybe $1 million. It's hard to say, but
Do you think
obviously.
we'll get into a model? But this is a great question for you. Do you think we'll get into a model where the market in the college football basically mirrors the markets in the NFL?
No, probably not. I think it's somewhat close in some regards in that rush-ins and quarterbacks are probably your highest value players right now, and that's pretty similar to the NFL. But a case like running back's a good example. They're more important in college, and they'll command a premium over what might be their true market value. And there's also 136 teams versus 30, so
Sure.
you've got a lot of differing needs there, where a staff can become convinced that, oh, this middle linebacker is the missing piece for us, and that's just not going to be usually reflected in the NFL in terms of what happens with free agency.
Hey, we got a minute here. What happens Saturday night?
I think it's going to be close. In a lot of ways, you could look at this game early on, way back in the offseason, and be like, well, that's the one you just mark up as the automatic loss. And Nebraska is the biggest underdog has been this season. But for all of that, in some ways, I view this not as a 7-3 versus 4-6 game. I think it might end up being the most telling game on Nebraska's schedule. And the week after isn't far behind, depending on what happens Saturday night. So I'm expecting a good game with a matchup that is close.
I agree with you. If you are on your path back, this is a game you find a way to win against a team that has more athletes, and you are an underdog on the road, even though you maybe think that you shouldn't. I'm right there with you. B, have a great rest of the week. Thanks as always for joining us on Wednesdays.
Thanks, guys.
That's Brandon Vogel from Counter Read. All right, busy morning. Dayton Raiola decommits from Nebraska out of the class of 26, and Hudson Greer decommits from his red shirt, and he will be available for Creighton basketball. The highest rated recruit week ago, he was putting on a shirt.
And I'm smoking cigars for Christmas.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right. Mike Schaefer will be in with Matt tomorrow. This is the last time I'm in studio till after Thanksgiving.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're off to New Orleans and then Baton Rouge and then Miami.
See you, old friend.
Yep. All right. Be good. No, I'll still be on the show, but just will not be. We'll be traveling tomorrow. Well, there'll be a lot on this today. There is no availability in Lincoln, so Rule can't say anything anyhow. But we can.
Yeah,
we'll do it all day.
We could say whatever we want. This is our story to tell.
All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow at 6.